Chapter 2772. What was the meaning of this? Longao was so confident. Could it be that he had truly grasped the Chaos Divine Weapon? It seemed a little ridiculous. If Longao had truly grasped the Chaos Divine Weapon, even if he had not refined the Chaos Tablet, he would not be in such a passive position. Not to mention Yunlu. Even the godly mathematician and the others could almost be sure that although Longao had obtained the Chaos Divine Weapon, he had not truly grasped it. Thinking of this, everyone laughed crazily. Longao, you really don't know your limits. We also want to see how you will defeat Yunlu. Defeat Yunlu? Longao knew his own limitations. Just by relying on his own strength, even if he truly grasped a Chaos Divine Weapon, it was impossible for him to be Yunlu's match. The absolute difference in cultivation level could not be compensated with other things. Longao did not use the Chaos Palace because he knew his own situation. Although he had devoured the Chaos Palace, he had not truly grasped it. It was almost impossible to rely on the Chaos Palace to fight against Yunlu's Sky Thunder Sword. Chaos Axe. After thinking about it, in the end, Longao was still forced to use the Chaos Axe. Although he was not sure if the Chaos Axe in his hand was the so-called Chaos Divine Weapon, his intuition told him that there was a 90% chance that the Chaos Axe was the so-called Chaos Divine Weapon. Although he had not truly grasped the Chaos Axe, it was much smoother than the Chaos Palace. Axe? Seeing that Longao did not use the Chaos Divine Weapon and did not know where he got the axe, everyone found it funny. Only Yunlu's face turned serious. Longao clearly knew that the Sky Thunder Sword in his hand was the so-called Chaos Divine Weapon, but he did not use it. Instead, he took out the axe. Could it be that the axe in Longao's hand was also the Chaos Divine Weapon? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Longao having a Chaos Divine Weapon was already a blessing in disguise. How could he have a second Chaos Divine Weapon? It was almost impossible. The remaining 12 people, including Yun He and Yun Tian, slowly retreated. In everyone's eyes, for Yunlu to want to kill Longao was simply an easy matter. Longao, if it wasn't for fate, we could be friends. It's all nonsense. Things had already reached this point, and Yunlu was actually still spouting nonsense. Longao was also quite depressed. Yunlu didn't continue to speak nonsense. Since he had yet to fully recover from his injuries, he could only use the Chaos Divine Artifact once or twice. In other words, if he forcefully used the Heavenly Thunder Sword this time, he wouldn't be able to use it again for a long time, unless there was some special reason. It was precisely because of this. Yunlu was very clear about the current situation. He had to succeed in one strike. Otherwise, once Longao had the opportunity to leave, this matter would become even more troublesome. Yunlu, why don't we make a bet?
Tell me.
Yunlu was very curious to hear that Longao wanted to make a bet. However, the hearts of Master God Diviner and the others were pounding. If it weren't for the fact that Longao was completely confident in winning the bet, how could he have done it so casually? Let's make a bet. Let's see if your Heavenly Thunder Sword or my axe is more powerful. If you lose, you can't stop me from leaving. If I lose, I'll let you decide whether I live or die. How about it? Patriarch. Yunlu waved his hand. He was also very curious about what gave Longao so much confidence. If he didn't have the strength, then he didn't have the strength. Even the Chaos Divine Artifact that he was so proud of had yet to truly master it. If they still couldn't deal with Longao, then they wouldn't have the face to keep Longao here. Thinking of this, Yunlu nodded with a smile and said, "As you wish." After saying that, Yunlu suddenly raised the Heavenly Thunder Sword in his hand. In the next second, the entire world began to tremble violently. Thunderclouds covered the sky and thunder rumbled, resounding throughout the world. Was this the power of a Chaos Divine Artifact? This was also Longao's first time seeing a so-called Chaos Divine Artifact. It was really very powerful. No matter how powerful a Starry Sky Divine Artifact was, it was so small in front of a Chaos Divine Artifact. No wonder Yunlu was so confident. Since things had already come to this, they couldn't take half a step back. Longao also raised the chaos axe in his hand and stood quietly. The two of them didn't want to waste any time. They only needed one move to determine whose chaos divine artifact was more powerful. Time passed by bit. At this moment, the chaos divine artifacts in both their hands began to move. The heavenly thunder sword and chaos axe were both slashed out. Thunder rumbled as the void trembled, and countless cracks appeared in the starry skies. Chaos divine artifacts can shatter the starry skies. Looking at the two of them, Master Godly Mathematician and the others were completely astounded. Everyone knew that Longao could shatter the starry skies and use the cracks to kill his enemies. Across the entire universe, there was probably no one who could do something like that. But right now, it wasn't just Longao who could shatter the starry skies. Even Yunlu was doing the same with the help of the heavenly thunder sword in his hands. The countless cracks in the starry skies were starting to devour one another. Even if one were to sense it from afar, it was still inconceivable, let alone being there. It was still the same statement. Even if they were the so-called rulers of the starry skies, they wouldn't dare to go against the cracks in the starry skies. This was especially the case right now. The cracks in the starry skies that were being torn apart by the two of them seemed a little too horrifying. If they were to be devoured by the cracks in the starry skies by force, they wouldn't even know if they could survive. But no matter what, it wouldn't be a good thing. The countless cracks in the starry skies were devouring one another. Yunlu found it hard to accept as well. This wasn't to say that Longao could shatter the starry skies. After all, the fact that Longao could shatter the starry skies wasn't a secret in the entire universe. What was truly shocking was something else. Not only did Longao have a space chaos divine artifact, he even had an attack chaos divine artifact. If that was the case, didn't that mean that Longao didn't just have a single chaos divine artifact? He had two of them. What sort of a concept was that? Unbelievable. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he wouldn't have believed that there was someone in the entire universe who could possess two chaos divine artifacts at the same time. Even though he didn't show it, Yunlu's greed was already at its peak. After all, even though Longao hadn't truly mastered this chaos divine artifact, the fact that he could fight against his heavenly thunder sword was more than enough to prove that the chaos axe in Longao's hands wasn't any weaker than his heavenly thunder sword. Thinking up to this point, Yunlu couldn't wait to take the chaos divine artifact for himself. Master Godly Mathematician and the others had also seen what Yunlu was thinking. Two chaos divine artifacts. Longao actually possessed two chaos divine artifacts. It would be a complete lie if they said that they didn't want them. After all, everyone knew very well what a chaos divine artifact represented, let alone two. Chapter 2773. It was too crazy. Master Godly Mathematician and the others were already tempted. Even though they had witnessed Yunlu's strength, they were still prepared to take the risk for the two chaos divine artifacts. Even if they had to offend Yunlu, they would not hesitate to start a war with him. That was the temptation of chaos divine artifacts. It was irresistible. On the other side, Yun He and Yun Tian's expressions changed. They had already guessed what Master Godly Mathematician and the others were thinking. Once Master Godly Mathematician and the others attacked, the three of them would not be able to fight back. Others might not know about their patriarch situation, but how could the two of them not know? What should they do? Longao and Yunlu's chaos divine artifacts were madly attacking each other. Countless cracks in space continued to appear and devour them. Up until now, the outcome was still unknown. Under normal circumstances, even if Longao had a chaos divine artifact, his strength was not on the same level as Yunlu's. If they fought forcefully, they would only lose. But the result? In the end, it was because Longao's chaos axe was too powerful. It actually covered the gap between their cultivation realms. Otherwise, Longao alone would not have been able to hold on for so long. When facing a chaos divine artifact of the same level, even if Longao had not fully grasped the chaos axe would attack on its own. In other words, The Chaos Axe attacking the Sky Lightning Sword had nothing to do with Longao. It was attacking on its own. Yunlu, master godly mathematician, and the others had already noticed this problem. The Chaos Divine Artifact's strength had far exceeded their understanding. Without Yunlu and Longao, the two Chaos Divine Artifacts were actually attacking each other. Inconceivable. Inconceivable. Whether it was the Sky Lightning Sword or the Chaos Axe, they had already separated themselves from Yunlu and Longao. Seeing the two Chaos Divine Artifacts attacking each other, Longao and Yunlu did not dare to act rashly. They had already discovered that they were locked onto by their respective Chaos Divine Artifacts. If they made the slightest move, they would be devoured by the cracks in space. The consequences would be unimaginable. The Sky Lightning Sword and the Chaos Axe were too powerful. Their strength had far exceeded everyone's understanding, especially Yunlu. Of course, Yunlu knew what his family's Chaos Divine Artifact meant. Even among the Chaos Divine Artifacts, it was a top existence. Otherwise, his family would not have allowed him to casually use the Sky Lightning Sword. But now he saw a Chaos Divine Artifact that was comparable to the Sky Lightning Sword flag. If he could obtain this Chaos Divine Artifact, he would be extremely excited. "Father, what should we do now?" Yidugu was extremely excited. The power of the Chaos Divine tool had completely conquered him. Must obtain it. Not only obtain it, but also obtain two Chaos Divine Artifacts. When the time comes. With a Chaos Divine Artifact and his father's Chaos Divine Artifact, the two of them were like tigers that had grown wings. How could the Divine Mathematician not know what Yunlu was thinking? If it had been something else, the Divine Mathematician definitely wouldn't have acted rashly. After all, provoking Yunlu was an unwise move. However, the temptation of two Chaos Divine Artifacts was simply too great. Even he could not resist the temptation. "Let's go." Without further ado, not only godly mathematician Yidugu, but also Longmia and the others made their move. The 10 Starry Sky Sovereigns did not care too much. After all, there were only 2 Chaos Divine Artifacts, and there were only 10 of them. Strike first, and gain the upper hand. As godly mathematician and the others approached the 2 Chaos Divine Artifacts, everyone was dumbfounded. None of the 10 dared to take another step forward. Everyone swallowed hard. They did not know why, but they had been locked onto. If they continued to move forward, the Chaos Divine Artifacts would attack them. The consequences would be unimaginable. A few minutes later, they began to slowly retreat. When they were out of the range of the 2 Chaos Divine Artifacts, they heaved a sigh of relief. Just thinking about it made them feel scared. The power of the 2 Chaos Divine Artifacts was unimaginable. If they were attacked, they would be devoured by the cracks in space. "Father, what's going on?" Yidugu could not understand. The 2 Chaos Divine Artifacts were clearly fighting. How could they have locked onto them? They had seen it with their own eyes before, but they had just experienced it for themselves. Chaos Divine Artifacts were really powerful, especially the 2 Chaos Divine Artifacts in front of them. They were incomparably powerful. The more powerful the 2 Chaos Divine Artifacts were, the more greedy they were. They wanted nothing more than to take them for themselves. The 2 Chaos Divine Artifacts do not want to be disturbed by others. If we force our way forward, only death awaits. Godly Mathematician knew very well that it was not just the 10 of them. Even Longao and Yunlu, the masters of the 2 Chaos Divine Artifacts, did not dare to casually step forward. In this kind of battle, even their masters would be implicated. So that's how it is. How could Yunlu and the others not be angry? Godly Mathematician and the others were clearly taking advantage of the situation. But at this time, they did not flare up. Then again, the temptation of Chaos Divine Artifacts was too great. It was just as Godly Mathematician had guessed. The battle between the Heavenly Thunder Sword and the Primal Chaos Axe was already a battle between the chaotic divine weapons. Longao and Yunlu couldn't interfere at all. They didn't even dare to force their way forward because they didn't know if the chaotic divine weapons would lock onto them or even attack them if they tried to interfere. If that was the case, it wouldn't be worth it. A draw. The chaotic divine artifact and the heavenly lightning sword collided fiercely and returned to Longao and Yunlu's hands. Yunlu's eyes shone brightly. He had never thought that Longao's other chaotic divine artifact would be so powerful. It was not inferior to his heavenly lightning sword. Yunlu knew better than anyone what the heavenly lightning sword meant. It was the family treasure. Even among all the chaos divine artifacts, it was a first-class existence. Thinking about Longao's chaos divine artifact, Yunlu found it hard to believe. Among all the chaos divine artifacts, spatial chaos divine artifacts were the rarest and the most difficult to obtain. He did not mention this to anyone because he wanted to take Longao's chaos divine artifact for himself. It could be said that Longao's axe aside, Longao's other spatial chaos divine weapon was probably superior to his heavenly thunder sword. After all, spatial chaos divine weapons were too rare. Until now, Yunlu still could not figure out where Longao had obtained these two chaos divine artifacts. Longao, it's better for you to surrender, so that you won't die without a burial ground. Looking at Yidugu, Longao suddenly smiled and said, "As long as my primordial spirit explodes, I can forcibly use this chaotic divine tool. Perhaps I can't kill all of you, but 1 or 2 shouldn't be a problem." Chapter 2774. What did that mean? If this were in the past, no one would have believed it. It was utter nonsense. But right now, the situation was completely different. It wasn't because everyone was afraid of Longao. What they were truly wary of was the Chaos God weapon in Longao's hands. To be able to fight against the Sky Thunder Sword if Longao were to speak the truth, if Longao were to self-destruct his essence spirit to activate the Chaos God weapon, he might just be able to drag 1 or 2 of them down with him. No one would be willing to fall like that. Even the rulers of the stars were afraid of death. Yunlu did not say anything, which was equivalent to admitting to it. Longao, I've said it before. As long as you surrender, we can let you off. Being sealed in the Sky Martial Continent seems like a pretty decent thing.
Ha ha ha.
Ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Hearing the words of the godly mathematician, Longao reared his head back and laughed maniacally. Longao, what are you laughing at? Yidugu, you're nothing but a clown. At this point, Longao did not continue. However, the mocking look on his face was clear for all to see.
Rage.
However, the godly mathematician held Yidugu back and said indifferently, Longao, even if the Chaos God weapon in your hands can fight against Brother Yun's Sky Thunder Sword, do you think that you can escape? That was the truth. Everyone could tell that even though the Chaos God weapon in Longao's hands was extremely strong, Longao had yet to truly master it. As long as Yunlu did not use the Chaos God weapon, the Chaos God weapon in Longao's hands would not be able to unleash its true power. If Longao wanted to leave the Sky Martial Continent with just a strength, it would be a fool's dream. How could Longao not know about that? All of a sudden, Longao chuckled. Even if I can't leave this place, it wouldn't be easy for you guys to keep me here. What do you think? When they heard Longao's words, the expressions of everyone, including Yunlu's group of 3, became extremely ugly. Just as Longao said, not to mention joining hands, even if any one of them casually stood out, they could easily deal with Longao. But what was the result? However, not a single person, including Yunlu, was able to break open the spatial chaos divine artifact in Longao's hand. This was the key. As long as they could not destroy the spatial chaos divine artifact, they would never be able to destroy Longao. Seeing that no one spoke, Longao snorted mockingly. His figure instantly disappeared without a trace. Without a doubt. Of course, everyone knew that Longao must have entered the spatial chaos divine artifact. He felt helpless. With such a heaven-defying spatial artifact, he would be invincible, even against the many rulers of stars. Chaos divine artifact. Yunlu's expression was ugly. Looking at the Sky Thunder Sword in his hand, he said, "Didn't you guys want my Sky Thunder Sword? I'll give you a chance. Come at me together. Brother Yun, I think you've misunderstood. How could we possibly want your Sky Thunder Sword? After witnessing the terror of the Sky Thunder Sword with their own eyes, even if there was water in their heads, the godly mathematician and the others wouldn't dare to fight Yunlu head-on. Yunlu was just fooling them. He had already used the Sky Thunder Sword. Even if he could continue using it, it wouldn't do him much good. There was no need to completely fall out with them. There was nothing wrong with being greedy. In this world, you steal from me, and I steal from you. Whoever is stronger can dominate everything. Brother Yun, we just wanted to help you deal with Longao. To be honest, you already have the Sky Thunder Sword. The Chaos Divine artifact in Longao's hand should belong to us. If it was something else, Yunlu would definitely not fight with them. Only a Chaos Divine artifact, especially one that was so powerful that it could fight against his heavenly Thunder Sword, was tempting even for him. Longao is dead. Whoever gets the Chaos Divine artifact will depend on their own ability. If anyone dares to play tricks behind my back, I will kill them even if I have to go to the ends of the earth. In the past, no one would have taken Yunlu's threat seriously. But now, the situation was completely different. Even if Yunlu was seriously injured, he was still the Starry Sky ruler who had once grasped primal chaos force. Moreover, he could use such a powerful heavenly lightning sword. Unless there was something wrong with his head, no one would be willing to provoke Yunlu. Seeing that everyone was smiling without saying anything, Yunlu didn't pursue the matter. This was indeed not the best time to fall out with them. At this moment, Master Godly Mathematician said, Brother Yun, even your Sky Thunder Sword can't destroy Longao. What should we do? Master Godly Mathematician and the others had not expected this. Originally, they thought that as long as Yunlu used the powerful Chaos Divine artifact, the Heavenly Thunder Sword, Longao would be killed without a doubt. However, they did not expect that Longao would have another Chaos Divine artifact in addition to a spatial Chaos Divine artifact. Not only that, but the other Chaos Divine artifact in Longao's hand seemed to be even more powerful. It could even contend with the Sky Thunder Sword. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they would have found it hard to believe. Yunlu also hadn't expected this outcome. In order to successfully deal with Longao, he had spent a lot of effort to obtain this Chaos Divine artifact from his family. He had been full of confidence, but he hadn't expected this outcome. Not to mention others, even he hadn't been able to react. Longao was truly mysterious. Just the fact that he had 2 Chaos Divine artifacts was enough to shock everyone. Yunlu didn't continue thinking about it because he knew very well that this matter wouldn't be so simple. After all, Master Godly Mathematician and the others weren't to be trifled with. Even if he wanted to take away Longao's 2 Chaos Divine artifacts, he would have to pay a considerable price. What should they do? Did they really have to do this? Clenching his teeth, Yunlu didn't waste any more words. He quickly left with the other 2, leaving Master Godly Mathematician and the others at a loss. They didn't know what Yunlu and the others were thinking, but without Yunlu's help, dealing with Longao would be even more difficult. Father, what should we do now? First, suppress this place. As long as Longao doesn't leave, we'll have a chance. It wasn't just Master Godly Mathematician who believed this. Although Longao had devoured the Primal Chaos Tablet, to truly refine it and become a ruler of the Starry Sky wasn't something that could be done in a short time. Who knew how long it would take? As long as Longao was on the Martial Heaven continent, they could think of all sorts of ways to deal with him. One day, they would succeed. Chapter 2775. There were 6 peak clans in the vast universe. Among them, the Peak Mysterious clan was the most mysterious. However, based on the current situation, the Peak Mysterious clan was undoubtedly the strongest among the 6 peak clans. At this moment, Yunlu's expression was very solemn. He looked at the small mountain in front of him, especially the stone door in front of the small mountain. He did not know if he should do that. He seemed to have guessed the clan leader's intention. Both Yun Tian and Yun He's expressions changed drastically. The 2 of them said in unison, "Clan leader, you can't do that. What can I do?" You've seen Longao's change. If we don't get rid of him as soon as possible, he will definitely hinder our clan in the future. I'm confident in my deduction. Deduction? The two of them, who had originally wanted to persuade him, swallowed the words they wanted to say when they heard the words calculate. They were very clear about the clan leader's deduction ability. Even if the clan leader was heavily injured and his strength was greatly reduced, his deduction ability was still half as good as before. Since the clan leader had already deduced that Longao would hinder the clan in the future, there was no doubt about it. If they did not kill Longao, the clan would definitely be in trouble in the future. 2 Chaos Divine Artifacts. One can fight against the Sky Thunder Sword, and the other is a Spatial Chaos Divine Artifact. I'm sure you know what it means better than me. Yun Tian and Yun He nodded. Of course, they knew what it meant to have 2 Chaos Divine Artifacts in Longao's hands. Clan leader, we'll take our leave first. Yun Lu nodded because he knew that the 2 elders had already agreed. It did not matter whether the clan agreed or not. There were some things that had to be done. 2 Chaos Divine Artifacts and everything that he had deduced. Everything he did was worth it. He took a deep breath. All of a sudden, Yun Lu knelt on the ground, and his attitude became as respectful as it could be. Father, I have something to ask of you. Father? As soon as Yun Lu finished speaking, the stone door in front of the small mountain suddenly opened. A figure slowly walked out. It looked very slow, but it was actually very slow. In the blink of an eye, he arrived. This was an old man, and his appearance was 50 to 60% similar to Yun Lu. The old man was called Emperor Yun. He was Yun Lu's father and the previous clan leader of the Peak Mysterious clan. However, Emperor Yun had resigned from the position many years ago and focused on cultivating in seclusion. Under normal circumstances, Yun Lu and his family would not casually disturb Emperor Yun's cultivation. It was precisely because of this. Emperor Yun was very curious. What exactly had happened for his son to disturb him? There was no anger. Cloud Emperor smiled and said, Lu, why are you in such a hurry? Is something the matter? Father, there is indeed something I need to report.
Speak.
Yun Lu did not hide anything. He told his father everything he knew about Longao in detail. When he mentioned the 2 chaotic divine weapons, he was especially careful because he knew that even his father would not be able to resist the temptation of the 2 chaotic divine weapons in Longao's possession. As expected, Emperor Yun wasn't interested in Longao's matters at all. However, when Yun Lu said that he had deduced that Longao would very likely be a hindrance to the clan in the future and that he possessed 2 chaos divine weapons that were comparable to the Sky Thunder Sword, Emperor Yun's expression finally changed. He seemed to be a little excited. Father, the spatial chaos divine weapons in Longao's possession are very powerful. Even I can't lock onto them. Yun Lu didn't continue, but the meaning behind his words was clear. As long as Emperor Yun wasn't a fool, he would be able to understand. He was completely shocked, because Emperor Yun knew very well what a powerful spatial chaos divine weapon meant. No wonder Lu came looking for him. Emperor Yun suppressed the excitement in his heart and said, You did the right thing. Longao is still a peak starry sky immortal. He hasn't even grasped a chaos divine weapon. The reason he was able to resist the Sky Thunder Sword was entirely because of the chaos divine weapon. How could Yun Lu not know about this? If Longao refined the Chaos Stone Tablet and became a starry sky ruler and grasped a chaos divine weapon, even I would not be able to truly destroy him. This shocked Yun Lu because he was very confident in his father's strength. If even his father said so, it seemed that his deduction was true. If that was the case, Longao must die, and die as soon as possible. Kill him as soon as possible.
Yes.
Sky Martial Continent. Everyone thought that Yun Lu had given up after leaving the meeting. They did not expect that in less than a few days, Yun Lu would return. This time it wasn't just Yun Lu and the other 2. He even brought another person with him, and that person was a starry sky ruler. What kind of concept was that? Although everyone had guessed that the Peak Mysterious race might have another starry sky ruler, guessing was one thing. Seeing it with their own eyes was another matter. It was shocking. It seemed that they had underestimated the peak mysterious race. If that was the case, the peak mysterious race should be the true strongest in the vast universe. Brother Yun, this is my father, Emperor Yun. Emperor Yun? They had never heard of it, but Master Godly Mathematician and the others already knew that there were more than 12 rulers of the starry sky in the vast starry sky. Previously, they had been frogs in a well. Now that they thought about it, it was ridiculous. Moreover, there were many things in the vast starry sky that they didn't know. For example, if they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they wouldn't have believed that there were actually 4 rulers of the starry sky. Other than that, back then, a white-robed girl had suddenly appeared in the vast universe, and she had mastered the power of primal chaos. Even Master Godly Mathematician had not been able to contend with her. All of this was beyond their understanding. So it's Senior Yun. Master Godly Mathematician and the others were not fools. It seemed that Yun Lu had not given up, but had gone back to find helpers. Could it be that Emperor Yun was stronger than Yun Lu? If that was the case, then Emperor Yun's strength was unfathomable. Even without Emperor Yun, Master Godly Mathematician and the others would not dare to casually provoke Yun Lu, especially after seeing the power of the Sky Lightning Sword. Emperor Yun only nodded indifferently. If it had been any other time, he would have displeased Master Godly Mathematician and the others. However, it was precisely because of this that they were certain that Emperor Yun was not simple. Brother Yun, have you already thought of a way to deal with Longao? Yes, but I want to tell everyone now that we only want 2 Chaos Divine artifacts from Longao's body. The rest will be divided equally among all of you. What do you think? Hearing that Yun Lu wanted to take the 2 Chaos Divine artifacts for himself, everyone, including Master God Diviner, was furious. Chapter 2776. This was too much. The moment Master Godly Mathematician and the others heard Yun Lu's words, they were enraged to the max. Even though they knew that Longao had many treasures and mystic skills on him, by the looks of it, the most valuable items on Longao's body were the 2 Chaos God weapons. Yun Lu already had a Chaos God weapon, the Heaven Thunder Sword. Even if he were to ask for an exorbitant price, he would only be able to get 1 more Chaos God weapon. The remaining Chaos God weapon would be theirs no matter what. But what happened in the end? Yun Lu was arrogant to the max. Even if he had the Heaven Thunder Sword, he could forget about getting both Chaos God weapons.
There was no doubt about it.
Master Godly Mathematician and the others shook their heads. Their intentions were clear. Longya chuckled. Brother Yun, aren't you guys going a little overboard? You guys already have the Heaven Thunder Sword in your hands. The 2 Chaos God weapons in Longao's hands should belong to some fated person. Right at this moment, ha 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 ha. Emperor Yun, who had been silent all this while, suddenly burst out laughing. What was the meaning of this? No one knew what Emperor Yun was laughing for. The faces of Master Godly Mathematician and the others turned terrible. If it were anything else, they might have been able to compromise a little. But Chaos God weapons were the only things that they could not back down in the slightest. This was especially the case after witnessing the might of the Chaos God weapons. They were even more determined to get their hands on them. One could say that in order to get the Chaos Stone tablets, they would not hesitate to go against Yun Lu and the others. Back when the 12 of you were cultivating the Chaos Stone tablets, our family did not interfere at all. If we had just casually done so, with that, Emperor Yun did not continue. But as long as one wasn't a fool, they would be able to understand the meaning behind his words. They were completely stunned. Was this for real? Master Godly Mathematician and the others were completely stunned. Back when they had obtained the 12 Chaos Stone tablets, they had thought that there were only the 12 of them in the entire universe. To think that they were just frogs in a well all this while. For some reason, Master Godly Mathematician and the others firmly believed that the words of Emperor Yun were true. Of the 6 pinnacle races in the universe, the pinnacle mysterious race had always been the most mysterious existence. Just who in the world are you guys? Master Godly Mathematician and the others' instincts told them that the identities of Yun Lu and Emperor Yun were far from simple. Now that he thought about it, he was really scared. It was hard to imagine. If Cloud Emperor and the others had made a move then, the consequences would have been unimaginable. If what Cloud Emperor said was true, then there was no doubt that Cloud Emperor had already become a ruler of the universe when they had just devoured the Primal Chaos Tablet. Cloud Emperor sneered in his heart. This kind of deterrence was exactly what he wanted to see. If it weren't for the two chaos weapons in Longao's possession, he wouldn't have come out so casually. Longao was determined to get his hands on the Chaos Divine Weapon. Seeing that no one was speaking, Emperor Yun smiled and said, "I only need 2 Chaos Divine Weapons from Longao. I won't take anything else. If you agree to this, I will give each of you a great opportunity in the future." Shameless. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't angry. However, Master God Diviner and the others didn't dare to act rashly. Who knew how many secrets this heaven-defying freak had? If they went for wool and came home shorn, they wouldn't even have a chance to regret their actions. It was really depressing to the extreme. Senior Cloud, we only want to ask you one thing. Whether it was Cloud Emperor or Yun Lu, they had already guessed what they wanted to ask. Yun Lu and the others laughed inwardly. What a bunch of clowns. Cloud Emperor didn't care. He suddenly released an unparalleled aura that enveloped everyone present. Primal Chaos Energy. Master God Diviner and the others had guessed that Cloud Emperor might have already mastered Primal Chaos Energy. But when they felt it, they were still shocked beyond words. Including Yun Lu, the Peak Mysterious tribe had 4 rulers of the universe. 2 of them had mastered Primal Chaos Energy. It was hard to believe this was real. Cloud Emperor said, "What I said just now still stands. As long as you help me get the 2 Chaos Divine Weapons, I will let you all master Primal Chaos Energy in the future." "I'm willing." "Me too." In a short while, Master God Diviner and the others had made their stance clear. Although the Chaos Divine Weapons were powerful and they knew very well that they could obtain the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, it was obviously unrealistic to make an enemy of Cloud Emperor and snatch the Chaos Divine Weapons. Others might not know how powerful a Starry Sky ruler who had mastered Primal Chaos Energy was, but how could Master God Diviner not know? Since they couldn't get the Chaos Divine Weapons, it would be a good opportunity to obtain Primal Chaos Energy. If it were just Yun Lu and the others, Master God Diviner, and the others wouldn't even take them seriously. At worst, they would fight. Even if Yun Lu had mastered Primal Chaos Energy, he wouldn't be able to gain the slightest advantage because of his serious injuries. However, Cloud Emperor's situation was completely different. Cloud Emperor himself had mastered Primal Chaos Energy. Once he used the Sky Thunder Sword, few people present would be a match for him. Not to mention, Cloud Emperor had 3 Starry Sky rulers by his side. Left with no choice, Master God Diviner and the others could only choose to compromise. Senior Cloud, Longao's Space Chaos Divine Weapon is very powerful. Even if the 13 of us join forces, we can't lock it down. Moreover, we have already imprisoned it, but we can't break it open. He wasn't surprised at all. Others might not know about Space Chaos Divine Weapons, but Cloud Emperor was well aware of them. Among all the Chaos Divine Weapons, Space Chaos Divine Weapons were the rarest and most powerful. Even he couldn't break them open. Who was Longao? What kind of luck did he have? Not only did he obtain 2 Chaos Divine Weapons, but one of them was a legendary Space Chaos Divine Weapon. However, this made Cloud Emperor even more greedy. He couldn't wait to get his hands on the 2 Chaos Divine Weapons in Longao's hands. It won't be difficult to lock down Longao's Space Chaos Divine Weapon, but it will be troublesome to break it open. Let me think about it first. Master God Diviner and the others were overjoyed. They believed that Cloud Emperor would be able to lock down Longao's Space Chaos Divine Weapon. Although they couldn't take it away, they could kill Longao and take away the other treasures on Longao. However, Master God Diviner and the others didn't know if Cloud Emperor could break open Longao's Space Chaos Divine Weapon. Chapter 2777. It was solemn. Emperor Yun had not seen Longao's chaotic divine weapon with his own eyes. He did not know if it was really that powerful. However, Emperor Yun did not wait. He began to lock onto Longao's position. Show yourself. In fact, Longao had already sensed Emperor Yun's aura the moment he entered the Sky Martial continent. This starry sky ruler who had already mastered the chaotic energy was probably not that simple. If he could further master the Chaos Palace, even Emperor Yun would not be able to lock onto him. So, what if he could lock onto him? With regards to his primal Chaos Palace, Longao was extremely confident. Although several starry sky rulers could work together to imprison him, as long as he did not go out, he believed that even this starry sky ruler would not be able to do anything to him. This was the power of the Chaos Palace. At this moment, a majestic palace suddenly appeared. Although this was the second time Master Shen and the others had seen it, they were still shocked.
Greed.
It would be a lie to say that they did not want it. Since you have shown yourself, why don't you come out and meet me? Not only Emperor Yun but everyone knew why Longao did not come out. Unless he was a fool, he would not come out. What kind of joke was this? Unless Longao was out of his mind. Who are you? Emperor Yun was very impressed when he heard that the other party was neither servile nor overbearing. However, he believed in his son's prediction. Since this person would be a hindrance to the family in the future, he could not be allowed to live. He had to be killed. Emperor Yun. I am really surprised. I did not expect that other than Yunlu, there is someone else who has mastered the chaotic energy. It seems that there are many things about the peak mysterious race that the vast universe does not know. Master Shen and the others also wanted to know what the peak mysterious race was like. They were too mysterious. They were so mysterious that they were a little perverted. However, their strength was equally perverted.
What do you want?
I want to know everything about the peak mysterious race. Who do you think you are? Yun Tian was completely enraged. How could the family's secret be leaked? Moreover, Longao was already a dead man. How could he be so arrogant and reckless? How could he not be angry? He was also furious. He said furiously, Longao, come out and fight with me if you have the ability. Cloud Emperor waved his hand to stop them from continuing. What do you want to know? Pinnacle Mysterious Clan. What kind of clan is it? Longao wasn't the only one who wanted to know. Even Master God Diviner and the others wanted to know who this peak uncanny tribe was. Emperor Yun smiled and said, that's all I can tell you about the Yun clan. I can't tell you anything else yet. Within the primal Chaos Palace, Longao did not mind at all. Of course, he knew that Emperor Yun and Yunlu would not tell him the true secret of the pinnacle mysterious tribe. However, he never expected that there would be such a powerful figure behind the Yun family. It seemed that it would not be so easy for him to leave this place. What should he do? His expression was solemn because even Longao did not know what to do in such a situation. After all, there were 14 starry sky rulers outside, and one of them had mastered the chaotic force. Even Song Lin might not be able to escape unscathed, let alone him. Song Lin. For some reason, Longao suddenly thought of Song Lin at this moment. Longao, are you still not going to show yourself? I'll come out as long as you kill Master God Diviner and the others. What do you think? Master God Diviner and the others were furious when they heard Longao's words. How could they not know what Longao meant? He just wanted to kill them with a borrowed knife. If Emperor Yun and the others really attacked, things would be very troublesome. Master God Diviner and the others were ready to leave as soon as Emperor Yun and the others attacked. Under such circumstances, it was not the right time to fall out with Emperor Yun and the others, unless they also mastered the chaotic force. However, it was impossible to do so in a short time. Emperor Yun smiled and said indifferently, Longao, there's no need to talk nonsense. Why don't you show yourself, and we can talk? You should know that even if you don't show yourself, I have a way to make you come out. Bullshit. Longao despised Emperor Yun. If Emperor Yun could break his chaotic palace, he would have done so long ago. Why would he waste time here? After all, Emperor Yun did not have the slightest confidence. Again, he was very confident in his chaotic palace. Even Emperor Yun, who had mastered the chaotic force, could not do it, let alone the starry sky ruler. Emperor Yun, I want to see how you break my spatial chaotic divine artifact. Not only Longao, but even Master God Diviner was looking forward to it. Besides wanting to break the spatial chaotic divine artifact to force Longao out, they also wanted to see how strong Emperor Yun, who had mastered the chaotic force, was. That way, they could have a rough estimate of their own strength. Master God Diviner and the others had never seen an expert of this level before. The white-robed girl had only exchanged a single blow with Master God Diviner, so they knew nothing about the ruler of the starry sky, who had mastered the power of primal chaos. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If the disparity was too great, they could only accept their fate and cultivate diligently to master the chaotic force in the chaotic stone tablet. If the disparity was not too great, they would have to deal with another matter. Master God Diviner and the others had already thought it through. If Emperor Yun's strength was not as great as they had imagined, they would even take the risk to fight Emperor Yun and snatch the chaotic divine artifact from Longao's hands. However, before that, they were more than willing to watch Emperor Yun and Longao fight. When the time came, they would be able to watch the fire from the other side of the river and reap the benefits. Just as Longao had guessed, Emperor Yun did not have the slightest confidence that he could break the chaotic palace. Otherwise, given Emperor Yun's character, he would not have said so much nonsense. Moreover, another reason why Emperor Yun was unwilling to take action was that he did not know how powerful the spatial chaotic divine artifact in front of him was. If he accidentally damaged the spatial chaotic divine artifact, he would lose more than he gained. In the vast starry space, primal chaos stone tablets were simply too rare. This was especially true for spatial primal chaos stone tablets. They were extremely rare. Emperor Yun suppressed his anger and said with a smile, Longao, I can spare your life as long as you hand over the 2 chaotic divine artifacts in your hands.
How about that?
Do you think I will believe you? Longao laughed as well. Only a fool would believe such words. Regardless of whether others believed it or not, he would not believe it. Chapter 2778. He seemed to be getting impatient. Longao, don't blame me for being impolite, since you don't know what's good for you. Hearing Emperor Yun's words, Master Godly Mathematician and the others were overjoyed. After waiting for so long, Emperor Yun was finally going to make his move. Seeing that there was no movement from the palace, Emperor Yun was finally enraged. Yun Di took the Sky Lightning Sword from Yun Lu's hand. Without any warning, the Sky Lightning Sword in Yun Di's hand slashed towards the Primal Chaos Palace. Yun Lu couldn't use the Sky Thunder Sword, but it didn't mean that Emperor Yun couldn't. How terrifying! Master Godly Mathematician and the others could clearly feel how powerful Emperor Yun's sword was. None of them were a match for Emperor Yun. Even their last hope was destroyed. It was depressing. According to Emperor Yun's estimation, the probability of him breaking the Chaos Divine Weapon was more than 60%. Everyone else thought so, let alone Emperor Yun. But the result? There was no movement from the Chaos Spatial Tablet. It was like an egg on a rock. Was this real? No one was willing to believe it, including Emperor Yun and Yun Lu. Immediately after, Emperor Yun was pleasantly surprised because he had never thought that the Spatial Chaos Divine Weapon in Longao's hand would be so powerful. The more powerful it was, the better it would be for him. But now it was a little troublesome. Even his strength and the Sky Thunder Sword couldn't break the Chaos Spatial Divine Weapon. Inside the Chaos Palace. In fact, Longao wasn't fully confident that the Cloud Emperor could break through the Primal Chaos Palace with the help of the Sky Thunder Sword. However, it seemed like he had underestimated the Primal Chaos Palace. Even the Starry Sky Ruler, who had mastered the power of Primal Chaos, couldn't break through his Primal Chaos Palace with the help of the Sky Thunder Sword. Longao wasn't surprised that the Chaos Palace wasn't broken. He knew very well that even if the Chaos Palace couldn't be broken, he couldn't leave this place. Father, what should we do now? Yunlu was dumbfounded when he realized that even his father couldn't break the Chaos Spatial Divine Weapon. He realized that he had underestimated Longao's Chaos Spatial Divine Weapon. Very well. It was just two simple words. Others might not know what Cloud Emperor's sudden words meant, but how could Yunlu not? Longao's Spatial Chaotic Divine Weapon was so powerful that his father would be like a tiger that had grown wings if he obtained it. Thinking of this, Yunlu didn't continue speaking because he was extremely clearly aware that since his father had already interfered in this matter, then Longao would be unable to escape even if he grew wings. Emperor Yun was frustrated as well. The more powerful Longao's Spatial Chaotic Divine Weapon was, the happier he would be. However, at the same time, there was a problem in front of him: how to break open this Spatial Chaotic Divine Weapon. If he couldn't deal with the Chaos Divine Artifact, he wouldn't be able to deal with Longao. This was really a headache. Lu and everyone else, why don't we work together to seal this place?
Huh?
What did that mean? Soon everyone understood what Cloud Emperor meant. He was afraid that Longao would leave. However, they couldn't figure out why Cloud Emperor was so afraid of Longao. As though he could see through everyone's thoughts, Cloud Emperor smiled and said, "It's better to be safe than sorry. It wasn't easy for us to trap Longao here. If he were to leave, wouldn't all our efforts be for naught?" Not for naught. Everyone nodded in agreement. If it were anyone else, they wouldn't have to do so. Only Longao. It wasn't as though something like this had never happened before. Just as everyone was about to continue sealing Sky Marshall Continent, the situation suddenly changed. A figure suddenly appeared and arrived in the blink of an eye. Her speed was extremely fast. Seeing this person, whether it was Yunlu or the divine mathematician, their faces completely changed. Song Lin, why are you here? The white figure that suddenly appeared was none other than Song Lin. Song Lin had already left. In order to completely sever her relationship with Longao, she wanted to leave as far as possible. However, she was still worried and decided to return to take a look. She only took a glance before leaving. Song Lin didn't expect that Longao wasn't in the Soaring Dragon Empire. Furthermore, the Soaring Dragon Empire was forcefully sealed. Song Lin wasn't a fool. She immediately realized that things weren't that simple. The first thing she thought of was Sky Marshall Continent. Because of this, without any hesitation, Song Lin rushed over as fast as she could. Not only was everyone shocked, even Song Lin was shocked. Song Lin had appeared in the vast starry sky and defeated the divine mathematician in one move. The entire starry sky knew about it. Because of this, everyone was shocked. The white-robed girl was a ruler of the starry sky. Furthermore, she was a ruler of the starry sky who had grasped the power of primal chaos. "You dare to deal with Longao?" Song Lin only said one sentence and didn't continue. However, as long as there was water in one's brain, they would be able to understand the meaning behind Song Lin's words. It was hard to imagine that Song Lin and Longao were related. In the past, Song Lin had saved Longao. However, in the eyes of the divine mathematician and the others, Song Lin had only helped Longao because she wanted to seize the treasures on Longao's body. But now, it seemed that wasn't the case. "Cloud Emperor, you actually came out." Song Lin was shocked when she saw the old man beside Yunlu. She was very clear about Cloud Emperor's strength. Furthermore, Cloud Emperor had been in seclusion for so many years. She didn't expect that he would come out in order to deal with Longao. "Song Lin, we haven't seen each other for many years. I didn't expect you to still be so ignorant. For the sake of your family, I won't deal with you today. You should leave." Cloud Emperor's meaning was very clear. It didn't matter who came this time. Not to mention Song Lin. Even Song Lin's family couldn't do it. However, it made sense after thinking about it. If it was something else, Cloud Emperor might choose to give up. After all, Song Lin's family wasn't to be trifled with. But now, he couldn't give up so easily. The reason was simple. Longao had two chaotic divine artifacts. Moreover, these two chaotic divine artifacts seemed to be more powerful than the Sky Thunder Sword. In order to obtain these two chaotic divine artifacts, Cloud Emperor didn't care about anything else. Song Lin was shocked. She was very confident in her family's deterrence. Even Cloud Emperor and Yunlu couldn't ignore it and provoke her family. But now, Cloud Emperor's words were obviously not backing down. It seemed like Cloud Emperor and Yunlu were determined to deal with Longao. What was the reason? Suddenly, Song Lin seemed to have thought of something. She turned around and looked at the palace behind her. Two rays of light shot out from her eyes because she finally knew why Cloud Emperor was doing this. Chapter 2779. Chaos Divine Weapon. Song Lin did not expect Longao to have a Chaos Divine Weapon. Moreover, it was the legendary rare space Chaos Divine Weapon. Song Lin now knew why Emperor Yun was willing to offend her and his family to kill Longao. If it was someone else, Song Lin would not have interfered. Except for Longao. Song Lin sneered and said, "If you want to kill Longao, you have to ask me first." Cloud Emperor, although my strength is not as good as yours, it seems that it will be very difficult for you to kill someone in front of me. Hearing this, Emperor Yun's face darkened. Just as Song Lin said, his strength was far above Song Lin's, but he was unable to suppress her. If Song Lin insisted on causing trouble, it would be troublesome. Song Lin, what's the reason? No comment. Looking at Song Lin and Emperor Yun, everyone was completely stunned. Song Lin's appearance had completely broken the current situation. If Emperor Yun did not continue to interfere, then they were useless. With Song Lin's strength, they were no match for the young lady in white. What should they do? Emperor Yun was undoubtedly the strongest among them. The marvelous mathematician and the rest were afraid that Emperor Yun would give up. Are you doing this on behalf of yourself or on behalf of your family? Myself. Emperor Yun heaved a sigh of relief when he heard that Song Lin was only representing herself. After all, he was unwilling to fall out with Song Lin's family unless he had no other choice. If that's the case, then we'll have to fight it out. Emperor Yun's intention was clear. This battle was unavoidable. At this moment, Longao walked out of the Chaos Palace. You still came. He sighed deeply in his heart. Even if there was a slim chance of survival, Longao did not want Song Lin to come. After all, the situation was different this time. Not only the marvelous mathematician and the rest, but even Emperor Yun and Yunlu were involved. Emperor Yun's strength was needless to say. Song Lin had already said that even she was no match for Emperor Yun. What's the point of saying so much? Longao knew what Song Lin meant and did not continue to talk nonsense. If it were me, what would you do? Longao smiled. If it had been Song Lin, Longao would have definitely risked his life to save her. Cloud Emperor and the others were not fools. Of course, they already knew the relationship between the two of them. He would be lying if he said he wasn't shocked. They really couldn't figure out how, with Song Lin's strength, talent, and the family behind her, she would take a fancy to Longao. Thinking of Lu Er's prediction, Cloud Emperor seemed to have thought of something.
Get out of the way.
Song Lin's voice was extremely cold as killing intent surged from her body. She had already decided that no matter who it was, as long as they dared to obstruct her and Longao, they would be killed without a doubt.
So, what if I don't?
Yunlu coldly snorted. Not to mention his father, even he was not afraid of Song Lin. Wanting to take Longao away like this was simply the biggest joke in the world. Without further ado, Song Lin attacked. However, in order to intimidate the others, Song Lin used her crystal coffin as soon as she attacked. In the past, Longao had never known what the crystal coffin in Song Lin's hand was. However, he now understood that if there were no accidents, the crystal coffin in Song Lin's hand would be a chaotic divine weapon. Moreover, it would be an extremely powerful one. Exterminating coffin, retreat quickly. Others might not recognize the crystal coffin in Song Lin's hand, but it didn't mean that Cloud Emperor didn't. Of course, Cloud Emperor knew how powerful the exterminating coffin in Song Lin's hand was. Even the Sky Thunder sword couldn't contend against it. It was precisely because of this that he couldn't understand why the Tsong family would give the exterminating coffin to Tsong Lin. It was unbelievable. The marvelous mathematician and the others had already hidden far away. Of course, they knew that it would be difficult for them to contend against Tsong Lin with their strength. Moreover, now that Cloud Emperor was here, there was no need for them to stand out. It would be best if Cloud Emperor and Tsong Lin were to kill each other and suffer losses. At that time, they would be able to reap the benefits. Yun Lu and the other two didn't interfere because they knew that Tsong Lin had already used the exterminating coffin. If they were careless, the consequences would be unimaginable. In the blink of an eye, Tsong Lin and Cloud Emperor had already started fighting. The exchange of blows was very fast, especially when both of them used chaotic divine weapons. The Sky Thunder sword and the exterminating coffin clashed. In the end, the exterminating coffin came out on top. Even so, Cloud Emperor's strength was clearly above Tsong Lin's. Guys, look, what is Longao doing? At this moment, Longao wasn't as nervous as everyone imagined. Instead, he closed his eyes tightly and no one knew what he was doing. Epiphany. Everyone instantly understood what Longao was doing. They could only be sure that Longao couldn't refine the chaotic stone tablet. So, what if he had an epiphany? No matter how long Longao had an epiphany, he would still be a peak starry sky immortal realm expert. Even if he was talented, he could at most contend against a half-step starry sky dominator. However, it was impossible for him to surpass a half-step starry sky dominator. Humph. Long Mia and the others certainly wouldn't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If they could take advantage of this opportunity to kill Longao, they could obtain all of Longao's treasures and hide in the spatial chaotic divine weapon. Then, even Cloud Emperor wouldn't be able to do anything to them. As for the consequences, as long as they could control the chaotic energy in the spatial chaotic divine weapon, everything else would be nonsense. Thinking of this, many people rushed towards Longao. However, Tsong Lin, who was fighting with Cloud Emperor, turned around and attacked those who tried to get close to Longao. Not only that, Cloud Emperor didn't stop her, causing Long Mia and the others to almost suffer. Everyone was furious. Cloud Emperor was clearly fighting with Tsong Lin, but he didn't hold Tsong Lin back. Otherwise, Longao would be a dead man by now. What was going on? Was Cloud Emperor going back on his word? That shouldn't be possible. However, everyone soon guessed Cloud Emperor's intention. He definitely didn't want others to take advantage of the battle between him and Tsong Lin. Although they were temporary allies, each of them had their own ulterior motives. Long Mia and the others didn't continue to attack, but Cloud Emperor seemed to be very unhappy. However, in order to kill Longao and take away the two chaotic divine weapons, he immediately attacked Tsong Lin without hesitation. In the blink of an eye, the two were engaged in a fierce battle again. This time, Long Mia and the others could only be anxious because as long as Tsong Lin attacked, they wouldn't have the slightest chance. They could only watch as Longao closed his eyes and meditated. As for what Longao was meditating, no one knew. At this moment, Longao closed his eyes and the third axe of the Chaos 9 axes suddenly appeared in his mind. Chapter 2780. Chaos 9 axes. Today, Longao had mastered the first and second axes of chaos. All along, Longao had been constantly cultivating the Chaos 9 axes and the so-called 9 Revolution Chaos Mantra. Without exception, no matter how hard he cultivated, there was no breakthrough in the 9 Revolution Chaos Mantra, and the previous 6 revolutions were all between life and death. Did he really have to die again to break through the 9 Revolution Chaos Mantra's 7th revolution? Longao didn't dare to do so. Although he had the immortal primordial spirit, but who knew if the situation would change? If he was unlucky and really died, he wouldn't even have the chance to regret. Because of this, the 9 Revolution Chaos Mantra had been unable to break through because of the power brought by the first 6 revolutions. Longao was looking forward to breaking through the 7th revolution and even the final 8 and 9 revolutions. As for the Chaos 9 axes, Longao had just cultivated the 1st and 2nd axes. After such a long time, there was still no way to cultivate the 3rd axe.
But now,
Just as Songlin and Emperor Yun were fighting, Longao suddenly entered an epiphany. Strictly speaking, he entered an epiphany of the Chaos 9 axes, and the one he comprehended was the 3rd axe. Chaos 9 axes, the 3rd axe, absolute power. Dozens of minutes later, Longao suddenly opened his eyes, and 2 rays of light shot out. Although his cultivation base didn't improve at all, Longao was full of confidence. With his current strength, killing a half-step starry sky dominator was simply a matter of minutes. Secret realms weren't so-called chaos divine tools, but powerful starry sky divine tools. In other words, it didn't matter whether he refined the secret realms or not, and the half-step starry sky dominator who refined the secret realms was only at the peak of the starry sky immortal realm. As long as he refined the chaos tablet, he could cross the peak and enter the starry sky dominator realm. What a powerful chaos 9 axes. Longao of course knew that he had only comprehended the 3rd axe, but could kill a half-step starry sky dominator. It was hard to imagine if he could comprehend the 4th axe. Then, even if he didn't refine the chaos tablet, would he be able to contend against the starry sky dominator? He didn't know. Without comprehending the 4th axe, whether he could contend against the starry sky dominator was unknown. But now Longao was very satisfied. Whether it was the 9 revolutions chaos mantra or the chaos 9 axes, both were incomparably heaven-defying existences. Songlin and Emperor Yun exchanged a palm strike, and each took 3 steps back. Songlin had lost this battle. However, it was impossible for Cloud Emperor to kill Songlin. The Sky Thunder Sword and Engulfing Coffin returned to their respective hands. Songlin's expression was a little ugly, but she forcefully suppressed it. Emperor Yun, I, Longao, will remember what you did to me today. In the future, I will pay you back double. You? Yidogu suddenly laughed. Not to mention Emperor Yun and Yunlu, even if it was him, Longao wouldn't be able to defeat him. He was simply arrogant to the extreme. Countless Yidogu. Longao, do you think you can leave this place alive? Yundi and Yunlu found it a little funny. Things had already turned out this way. Even Songlin was no match for them. It was hard to imagine what gave Longao such confidence that he actually dared to boast shamelessly here. Just because of the spatial chaos divine artifact? As long as they could deal with Songlin, they would be able to find a way to break the spatial chaos divine artifact. By then, given Longao's strength, facing so many starry sky dominators, there was no doubt he would die. How could Longao not know what Emperor Yun and the others were thinking? But he was depressed. If he was alone, he could enter the Chaos Palace. Not even Emperor Yun could break his Chaos Palace, let alone the others. But now, the situation was completely different. For some unknown reason, Songlin couldn't enter the Chaos Palace. This situation had never happened before. If Songlin couldn't enter the Chaos Palace, he couldn't enter either. He couldn't leave Songlin alone outside. Songlin, let's leave together. The current Songlin had become a timid little bird. She would do whatever Longao said. Yidogu really couldn't stand Longao. He didn't know if it was because Longao was originally from the Martial Sky continent, but in his eyes, Longao was just an ant-like existence. He didn't expect that in just a few hundred years, Longao would grow to such a level. Without the slightest hesitation, Yidogu took a step forward and charged at Longao. One punch. In the eyes of the crowd, if Yidogu and Longao met force with force, Longao wouldn't be able to withstand this punch. After all, even a half-step Starry Sky Dominator couldn't withstand a punch from a Starry Sky Dominator, let alone a peak Starry Sky Immortal. Humph. Songlin snorted coldly. She didn't expect that Yidogu would want to attack in front of her. He was simply overestimating himself. However, before Songlin could make a move, Longao took the lead. However, it wasn't his fist, but the chaos axe in his hand. The third Chaos Axe, absolute killing power. After comprehending the third Chaos Axe, Longao also wanted to test his current strength. Even though he knew that he wasn't a match for the Starry Sky Dominator, what happened next shocked everyone. With a loud bang, Longao took 3 steps back, but Yidugu was directly blown away. Although Yidugu stopped in midair and was not injured, even so, he was so shocked that he couldn't even speak. Was this for real? Not to mention the others, even Cloud Emperor was a little shocked. Longao was only a peak Starry Sky immortal. Even if he was powerful and talented, it was impossible for him to contend against the Starry Sky Dominator, let alone a half-step Starry Sky Dominator. However, just now Longao had sent Yidugu flying with a single blow. Longao's strength wasn't at that level. The only explanation was that the Chaos Divine tool in his hand was too overbearing. It was even more powerful than the Sky Thunder Sword. This was before Longao truly mastered the Chaos Divine tool. If he did, it was hard to imagine who would win in a battle between Longao and Yidugu. Songlin also didn't expect this. She said in surprise, "Longao, your Chaos Divine tool is really powerful. I have a feeling that even my engulfing coffin is no match for it. I'll tell you later." Longao certainly knew that although the Chaos Axe was a Chaos Divine tool, he still couldn't truly master it and display its true power. The only reason he could contend against Yidugu was because of the Chaos 9 Axes. If he hadn't comprehended the third Chaos Axe, it would have been impossible. However, Longao also knew that even if he had comprehended the third Chaos Axe, he still wasn't a match for the Starry Sky Dominator. Chapter 2781. Dugu, what's going on? Master Godly Mathematician's face was gloomy because he still didn't believe that Longao could contend with his son. It was complete nonsense. The biggest problem was the Chaos Divine tool in Longao's hand. He was furious, but more than that, he was greedy. If he could get his hands on the Chaos Divine tool, Master Godly Mathematician began to plot. "Father, Longao's strength seems to have improved a lot. Maybe it's because of his epiphany. Not because of the Chaos Divine tool?" Yidugu used his spiritual sense to communicate, so the others couldn't hear him. Master Godly Mathematician was shocked to the extreme. If that was the case, Longao was too abnormal. He was only a peak Starry Sky immortal, not even a half-step Starry Sky Dominator, but he could contend with a Starry Sky Dominator. It was hard to imagine. If Longao really refined the Chaos Stone tablet in his body and became a Starry Sky Dominator, what kind of strength would he have if he used the Chaos Divine tool? Longao would die. Longao, do you think you can leave like this? It's not up to you to decide whether we can leave or not.
Huh?
Seeing that Longao was so confident, Cloud Emperor's heart was not as confident. He had already heard a lot about Longao from Yunlu. Some of these things even he found inconceivable. But thinking about it, Emperor Yun felt that he was overthinking. Even if Longao's strength was a little stronger because of his epiphany, it was impossible for him to leave under their watch. Not even with Songlin's help. Even Songlin was very curious. She knew best how strong Emperor Yun and the others were. How could she and Longao leave? Longao didn't care. "Songlin, let's kill our way out." Hearing this, Songlin was a little stunned. Although she knew that there was a slim chance of survival, she nodded without hesitation. At the same time, she didn't even say a word. Longao and Songlin wanted to force their way out? Emperor Yun laughed. So, did Yunlu, Master God Diviner, and the others chuckled. No one knew if Longao was out of his mind. Trying to force his way out of 14 rulers of stars, one of whom was a ruler of stars who had mastered the power of primal chaos, was simply ridiculous. Not to mention Longao. Even Songlin might not be able to do it. Cloud Emperor smiled and said, "Songlin, I'm giving you one last chance. As long as you leave now, I won't pursue the matter from before." No one objected. Songlin's strength was there for all to see. Apart from Emperor Yun, no one could keep Songlin here. Also, Cloud Emperor had made it clear that there was a force behind Song Lin. It was hard to imagine how strong this force was, but no one was willing to provoke it. As for Yun Lu and the others, they didn't speak out to persuade him because they were very clearly aware of his father's intentions. In the end, his father was still unwilling to offend Song Lin, and unless it was a last resort, his father wasn't willing to shed all pretenses with the power that stood behind Song Lin. If that really happened, it wouldn't benefit anyone. Cloud Emperor was also very depressed. If it were anyone else, he wouldn't even waste his breath on them, and would just kill them. Except for Song Lin. If Song Lin was alone, even if she had already grasped the primal chaos energy, it wouldn't be a problem for her to kill Song Lin for the sake of obtaining the 2 primal chaos divine weapons, one of which was a spatial primal chaos divine weapon. But in the end, the family behind Song Lin was too powerful. If this matter wasn't handled properly, the consequences would be unimaginable. It was precisely because of this. After hesitating for a long time, Cloud Emperor ultimately didn't want to touch Song Lin. It wasn't because he was afraid of Song Lin, but because he was wary of the power behind Song Lin. As for silencing her, he couldn't do it because in order to do so, he first had to be able to kill Song Lin, and then kill everyone here, except for Yun Lu and the other 2. Obviously, it wasn't possible. She snorted coldly. Looking coldly at the crowd in front of her, Song Lin didn't continue to hide. Instead, she approached Longao and pulled his hand, saying, "In life, I am Longao's man, and in death, I am Longao's ghost." What did that mean? The crowd wasn't stupid and instantly understood what Song Lin meant. She wouldn't abandon him, even if she had to die with Longao. The others were fine, but Cloud Emperor, Yun Lu, and the other 3's faces instantly turned cold. The power behind Song Lin wasn't to be underestimated. They really didn't want to deal with Song Lin. However, when they thought of the 2 chaos divine weapons in Longao's hands and other secrets, Cloud Emperor and the others felt a little murderous. It wasn't impossible to kill Song Lin for the chaos divine weapons. "Song Lin, let's go." Holding the chaos axe, Longao didn't continue to hesitate. He pulled Song Lin's hand and rushed out. Under the time teleportation, Longao's speed had soared to the extreme. Not only that, the chaos axe in Longao's hand continuously slashed out. This time, Longao didn't just use the 3rd axe, he even used the 2nd axe. He wanted to create a crack in the starry sky. Only then would they have a chance to leave. Others didn't dare to barge into the crack in the starry sky, but that didn't mean Longao didn't. Longao had already thought about it. Instead of being trapped here, he might as well take a risk. Even if he was swallowed by the crack in the starry sky, he had to leave this place. Again, who knew how long they would be trapped here? Unless he could refine the attribute-less Chaos Stone tablet in his body, but it didn't seem very possible. The 2 of them weren't far from the entrance. With Longao's time teleportation and the crack in the starry sky, they soon arrived at the entrance. Just as Song Lin was about to leave with Longao, the situation suddenly changed. "Longao, what are you doing? You have to wait for me." After saying that, Longao pushed Song Lin out and entered the crack in the starry sky. Longao knew very well that as long as he didn't leave, Song Lin wouldn't leave. Under the circumstances of not being able to enter the Chaos Palace, Song Lin could very well die here. He definitely couldn't implicate Song Lin. It wasn't just Song Lin. Even Emperor Yun and the others were completely dumbfounded. Although they knew that Longao could break open the crack in the starry sky, they didn't expect Longao to dare to step into the crack in the starry sky. Because they knew very well what the crack in the starry sky meant. Even if it was Longao, once he stepped into the crack in the starry sky, he would definitely die. Everyone knew what Longao meant. Although they were enemies with Longao, Longao was still worthy of respect. However, when they thought that Longao would definitely die if he stepped into the crack in the starry sky, and that his 2 chaos divine artifacts would be swallowed by the crack in the starry sky, the faces of Emperor Yun and the others turned ugly. Chapter 2782. The Divine Mathematician and the rest were not disappointed. Longao was dead. Longao was finally dead. On the other hand, the Divine Mathematician and the rest hoped to see Longao fall. In that case, they would not be able to obtain the Chaos Divine Artifact, and Emperor Yun would not be able to obtain the 2 Chaos Divine Artifacts in Longao's hands. Before they could react, Song Lin, who was pushed out by Longao, returned. It was too late. She saw Longao being swallowed by the spatial crack with her own eyes. Song Lin had already stepped in, but the spatial crack disappeared too quickly. Anger. Endless anger. Because of that, regardless of the consequences, Song Lin attacked. Even if she died here today, Song Lin would kill these people. Emperor Yun did not hold back either. If he did not kill Song Lin, he would be killed. As for the rest, they did not hold back either. Song Lin's strength was very strong, especially at a time like this. Needless to say, to fight against more than 10 rulers of Starry Sky alone, one could imagine how strong Song Lin was. As the saying goes, 2 fists are no match for 4 hands. Furthermore, Song Lin was already mentally and physically exhausted. In just a few minutes, she was already unable to hold on.
Kill.
Emperor Yun and the rest had the same thought. That was to eliminate the root of the problem. No matter how strong Song Lin's backer was, as long as they killed Song Lin here, no one would know. Especially now, it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If he waited for Song Lin to recover, it wouldn't be so easy to kill her. At this moment, the Sky Martial Continent was suddenly locked down. Everyone who was about to continue attacking looked at the scene in front of them in shock. What was going on? It was not only them. Even Song Lin, who was extremely angry and in the midst of killing, suddenly fainted. However, she was locked down in midair. The moment Song Lin fainted, a huge face appeared in midair. The resolute face was filled with majesty, giving off an ethereal feeling. The Divine Mathematician and the rest did not know what was going on. Although they could do such a thing, to lock down 14 rulers of Starry Sky at the same time, and one of them was a ruler of Starry Sky who had grasped the Chaos Force. Who was the person in front of them? However, what everyone could be sure of was that what they saw was definitely not the true body. What kind of strength was this? It was unimaginable. Looking at the giant face that suddenly appeared in midair, Cloud Emperor, Yun Lu, and even Yun Tian and Yun He behind them all knelt down, their faces pale. Master God Diviner and the others were completely shocked. They were well aware of Emperor Yun's strength. However, even such an existence knelt down without saying a word when he saw the giant face in front of him. What was going on? Master God Diviner and the others stood there in a daze. Senior Tsong, the giant face's expression was very indifferent, without the slightest trace of anger. The giant face said coldly, "I will remember what happened today. I will come and find you in the future." Senior. The giant face ignored Cloud Emperor and disappeared without a trace, with the unconscious Song Lin. Emperor Yun's face was gloomy. He had never thought that this person would appear all of a sudden. It seemed like he was in big trouble. "Father, why didn't he kill us?" "You think he doesn't want to?" "Since he wanted to, why?" Yun Lu was not the only one who could not understand. Even Yun Tian and Yun He could not understand what was going on. They were very clear about the strength of the giant face that had just appeared. "My original body is not here yet. He can't kill us." Yun Lu and the other 2 naturally knew what their father meant. Yun Lu asked impatiently, "Father, what should we do now?" The matter that I asked you to do, you can't even complete it after so many years." "What trash." Yun Lu and the other 2 did not dare to say anything. However, they did not think much of it. After all, that matter was too difficult. Even they were helpless. If it was that easy, their father would have done it long ago. There was no need for them to wait for so many years. However, the 3 of them did not dare to say it out loud. From now on, no matter what method we use, we must complete that matter. If this person is ahead of us, Yundi did not continue after saying this. However, the meaning behind his words was very clear. How could Yun Lu and the others not understand? Their faces were extremely gloomy. They did not dare hesitate in the slightest, as they immediately stood up and left. Sky Martial Continent regained its peace. What had just happened? Even with Cloud Emperor's strength, he had actually knelt down in front of the giant face. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they wouldn't have believed it even if they were beaten to death. It was truly unbelievable. Everyone, I want to ask, what happened just now? Up until now, Roi Mu was still a little dumbfounded. The scene just now had completely shocked them. If even Cloud Emperor was like this, it was hard to imagine that if that person really came with his original body, it would be extremely easy for him to kill them. They had originally thought that Cloud Emperor was a true peak existence in the vast starry sky. However, from the scene just now, it seemed that he was not. It seemed that they were still frogs at the bottom of a well. The vast starry sky was truly worthy of being called the vast starry sky. After this incident, the divine mathematician and the others were thoroughly shaken. The divine mathematician thought for a moment and said, "That senior didn't pay attention to us. If I'm not wrong, he won't look for us. However, Yun Lu and the others will be in trouble." The divine mathematician naturally hoped that that person would kill Cloud Emperor and the others. After all, Cloud Emperor was still a threat. As for strength, the divine mathematician felt that his strength was nothing in the vast starry sky. Not to mention the giant face that had just disappeared, just Cloud Emperor and Song Lin were existences that he couldn't compare to. There was always someone better than you. Divine mathematician, we all know what you mean. However, it's better to be safe than sorry. Who knows if that senior will come looking for us? Therefore, we must be prepared. Prepare? A person that even Cloud Emperor was afraid of? Even if they were prepared, it would be useless. The divine mathematician looked at everyone helplessly and said, "Life and death are predestined. If it really comes to that, we won't be able to do anything." The divine mathematician didn't know why, but he was sure that the giant face that had just disappeared wouldn't come looking for them. He would definitely go looking for Cloud Emperor and the others. It was a kind of intuition, but the divine mathematician believed in his intuition. Since things had already come to this, they didn't say anything more and left. In an instant, they all disappeared without a trace. Chapter 2783.
Creak.
The door was gently pushed open, and a young lady walked in. She was dressed in coarse clothes but was very clean. Although the young lady didn't seem to be rich, it couldn't hide her beauty. It wasn't an exaggeration to say that she was devastatingly beautiful. He still hasn't woken up. Shuang Shuang, he still hasn't woken up? At this moment, a woman walked in from outside. She was also extremely beautiful, and her appearance was 50 to 60% similar to the young girl's. Qin Shuang said worriedly, "Mother, it has been 2 months, and he still hasn't woken up. But I can feel that his pulse hasn't stopped. Is he in a vegetative state?" Although Qin Shuang's cultivation had reached the initial stage of qi refining, she was still very naive. She didn't know what was going on with the person lying on the bed. He Lu also didn't know what was going on. Even her daughter didn't know, let alone her. Shuang, why don't you bring him to the 9 Immortal Palace and see if anyone can save him?" He Lu was very clear about what the 9 Immortal Palace meant. Qin Shuang sighed and said helplessly, "Mother, I'm just an outer disciple of the 9 Immortal Palace. What I can do is limited. Even if I bring him to the palace, it won't help." Thinking about her own sect, Qin Shuang felt a deep sense of helplessness. Although the 9 Immortal Palace was strong, it depended on their status. Needless to say, the inner sect disciples of the 9 Immortals Palace were innumerable. However, the outer sect disciples were too numerous for superpower, like the hairs on a cow. He Lu didn't know about the 9 Immortal Palace, so she didn't say much and turned to leave. After an unknown period of time, Longao felt that his head was in pain. It was as if someone had forcefully peeled it open. He was definitely not dead. Longao was very confident in his 9-colored lotus primordial spirit. It was also because of this that Longao dared to step into the space crack. Where was he? just as Longao felt that his head was about to split open. You're awake? You're finally awake. I thought you would continue to sleep. Great, how do you feel now? He opened his eyes with difficulty and saw a beautiful face. It seemed that his guess was right. He wasn't dead. Instantly, he felt very helpless in his heart and sighed even more. Regarding his current situation, Longao had 10,000 helplessness in his heart. Even though he had the protection of the 9-colored lotus primordial spirit and wouldn't die even if he stepped into the spatial rift, he still had to pay a heavy price. The price was a little too high. The price of forcibly entering the starry sky crack was Longao's current cultivation, which was only a grade 7 starry sky cultivator. It would not be easy for him to recover. The fact that he didn't die was already a blessing in disguise. Suddenly, Longao discovered that the world's spirit energy he was in seemed to be a little too dense. Even in a high-grade material plane, such a dense world spirit energy didn't appear. What was going on?
Who are you?
My name is Qin Shuangshuang. What about you? My name is Longao. May I ask where I am now? Longao already knew what had happened. From the looks of it, he had forcefully stepped into the crack in the starry skies and was forcibly teleported here. Qin Shuangshuang smiled and said, "This is Maple Leaf Village. A few months ago, you were seriously injured, and I saved you." Maple Leaf Village? Longao didn't care about the village. What he really cared about was which material plane he was in, and where he was in the vast starry skies. Miss Qin, I want to ask, which material plane am I in now? What material plane? Longao only noticed the beautiful girl in front of him. Even if his cultivation had dropped to grade 7 starry sky cultivator, his spiritual consciousness was still at the peak of starry sky immortal spiritual consciousness. Therefore, he instantly knew the true cultivation of the girl in front of him. However, Longao was very curious about the power system in this girl's body. It seemed to be different from his own cultivation. In that case, whether this girl was a grade 1 starry sky cultivator or a grade 2 starry sky cultivator, he couldn't figure it out. However, Longao quickly determined that this girl should be a grade 1 starry sky cultivator. I grew up in a very remote place. I don't know much about this continent. Can you tell me more about it? Qin Shuangshuang was a very kind person. Otherwise, she wouldn't have saved Longao and taken care of him for several months. If it were someone else, they would have chosen to give up long ago. Qin Shuangshuang didn't hide anything and began to explain. After hearing this, Longao was a little shocked. This was because the cultivators of this plane actually cultivated another type of cultivation system. This type of cultivation system was called cultivation truth. What kind of material plane was this? Just the heaven and earth spirit chi of this material plane already made him feel incredible. If he cultivated in such a place, his cultivation would probably improve very quickly. According to Qin Shuangshuang, the material plane he was now in was called the Purple Fate Continent. There were 3 super forces jointly controlling the continent. The 3 super forces were 9 Immortals Palace, Shangqing Sect, and Xingyun Sword Sect. Qin Shuangshuang was an outer sect disciple of 9 Immortals Palace. However, outer sect disciples didn't have the slightest status. After all, for the 3 super forces, outer sect disciples were too many. The cultivators in the Purple Fate Continent could be roughly divided into 9 levels, which were Qi Refining, Foundation Establishment, Enlightening, Golden Core, Nascent Soul, Out of Body, Combination, Nirvana, and Crossing Tribulation. Qin Shuangshuang was a Qi Refining cultivator, and she was only at the primary level. After a simple sensing, Longao already knew that the 9 levels of the cultivators in the Purple Fate Continent were almost the same as the cultivators level. It was just that the power of cultivation was different. In other words, the 2 cultivation systems corresponded to each other. Qi Refining corresponded to level 1 Starry Sky cultivators, Foundation Establishment to level 2 Starry Sky cultivators, Enlightening to level 3 Starry Sky cultivators, Golden Core to level 4 Starry Sky cultivators, Nascent Soul to level 5 Starry Sky cultivators, Out of body to level 6 starry sky cultivators, combination to level 7 starry sky cultivators, nirvana to level 8 starry sky cultivators, and crossing tribulation to level 9 starry sky cultivators. Because his cultivation had decreased, he was now only a level 7 starry sky cultivator, which was equivalent to the combination realm of the cultivation system. Not only that, Longao found that he couldn't leave this material plane at all. If nothing unexpected happened, unless he could break through the crossing tribulation realm and reach a higher realm, he could leave this material plane. It seemed that this material plane was really not simple. If it were any other material plane, as long as he could break through to level 1 starry sky cultivators, he could leave this material plane smoothly. Where did he come to? Chapter 2784. After exchanging a few words with Qin Shuangshuang, Longao began to cultivate. Qin Shuangshuang was not surprised that Longao was a cultivator. It was just that she could not sense Longao's true cultivation level. A month passed in the blink of an eye. Longao had completely stabilized his injuries, but his cultivation level did not improve at all. He was still a so-called level 7 cultivator. He felt helpless. Brother Long, you said you want to enter the 9 Immortals' Palace? Yes, I don't know if you have a way. Longao did not know what was going on with his body, but it must have something to do with him forcibly stepping into the space crack. Helpless, he could only enter the 9 Immortals' Palace to see if there were any spiritual herbs that could help him. After a few days of understanding, Longao found that his imagination was too simple. In the vast starry sky, according to his guess, if nothing unexpected happened, the purple fate continent he was in should not be in the so-called vast starry sky. Whether his guess was correct was still unknown. However, Longao was very clear that his guess should be correct. In this starry sky, there was another starry sky. Although the purple fate continent he was in was also in the vast starry sky, it was also one of the many planes in the vast starry sky, but it was not the same vast starry sky as before. Others might not know. But how could he not know? When he entered the passage in the Jianling Mountain, he already knew that there was another starry sky in addition to the vast starry sky he was in. This starry sky had an army of countless unknown creatures. Once the border between the vast starry sky and the vast starry sky was destroyed, then countless unknown creatures would rush in and plunge the people into misery and suffering. Originally, he thought that there was another vast starry sky in addition to the vast starry sky he was in. However, Longao's guess was wrong. In addition to the other vast starry sky he knew, the purple fate continent he was in at this moment, which was the vast starry sky the purple fate continent was in, was another vast starry sky. Unbelievable. He had forcibly entered the space crack and actually left the vast starry sky, entering a new vast starry sky. No wonder the cultivation system was different. The cultivation system was different from the cultivation system in the vast starry sky he was in before, but they were similar. That was right. Longao could even be sure that after the 9 realms of cultivation, there must be a higher realm. However, if he wanted to leave the purple fate continent and return to the vast starry sky he was in before, he had to go to the 9 Immortals' Palace. If he still had his strength, he would have no problem killing his way into the 9 Immortals' Palace. But now, the situation was different. Not only was he seriously injured, but his cultivation was also reduced to a level 7 starry skies cultivation. What did this mean? What did this mean? Was there, and even if he would encounter a level 8 or even a level 9 starry sky cultivator, or even a higher's, he would not benefit from a level 7 or even a immortals' or a A's or a S's, he or even a of or a.
To check.
Of this to see. Become an outer. Become an ands and I's an outer. To become and to enter it.
You.
Shuang. What are the conditions to become an inner disciple of the 9 Immortals' Palace? Even if Longao's cultivation had been reduced to a level 7 starry skies cultivator, as long as he entered the 9 Immortals' Palace, he would not only become an inner's disciple, but would also cause a stir in the 9 Immortals' Palace. As long as your cultivation can break through to the foundation establishment realm, you can apply to become an inner's disciple. It turned out to be that simple. In other words, as long as one's cultivation could break through to a level 2 Starry Skies cultivator, they could enter the 9 Immortals Palace's inner's disciple. For Longao, it was a piece of cake. Shuang shuang, I want to refine a few pills. Where can I buy a pill furnace and the herbs I need? Hearing that Longao wanted to refine pills, Qin Shuang Shuang was stunned. She asked in disbelief, Brother Long, do you really want to refine pills? He nodded. Longao was very curious. Although his cultivation had been reduced, refining pills would not be a problem. In any case, he had to restore his cultivation to a level 9 Starry Skies cultivator as soon as possible, or even break through. Only then could he leave this plane. He did not want to stay in this vast starry sky. After all, there were too many things in the vast starry sky that he was reluctant to part with. He was pleasantly surprised to the extreme. Brother Long, I really didn't expect you to be an alchemist. Longao was even more surprised. In fact, Longao did not know that in the Purple Fate continent, the status of an alchemist was far above that of a cultivator. This was because the various pills refined by alchemists were a bit too heaven-defying. Not only that, alchemists and cultivators were different. If 1 in 10 people could cultivate, then 1 in 100,000 people might not be able to become an alchemist. From this, one could imagine how difficult it was to become an alchemist. Shuang shuang, how are the levels of alchemists divided? Qin Shuang Shuang was a little speechless. She couldn't figure out why Brother Long was an alchemist as well as a self-cultivator. Why didn't he know anything about self-cultivators or alchemists? However, Qin Shuang Shuang didn't ask. Alchemists are divided into 9 levels, with level 1 being the lowest and level 9 being the highest. However, according to the rumors, each level of alchemist has to have the corresponding strength as support. Otherwise, it is impossible to refine pills of a higher grade. This was just a general phenomenon, but there were also some exceptions. Longao was very clear that under normal circumstances, it was exactly as Qin Shuang Shuang said. However, he was an exception. Even if his current cultivation was only at grade 7 Starry Sky cultivator, he could still refine grade 9 medicinal pills. He could even refine higher-grade medicinal pills, but he needed the corresponding spiritual grasses. Brother Long, what level of alchemist are you? I don't know. Qin Shuang Shuang did not think much about it because in her opinion, even if Brother Long was a level 1 alchemist, he could easily enter the 9 Immortals Palace and become an inner disciple of the 9 Immortals Palace. Brother Long, the place we are in belongs to the Phoenix Ancient City, so as long as we enter the Phoenix Ancient City, we can find the pill furnace to refine pills. As for whether we can find the spiritual grasses, that is unknown. Then let's go to the Phoenix Ancient City now. Longao, who was preparing to go to the Phoenix Ancient City, suddenly saw that Qin Shuang Shuang did not get up. He already knew that things were not as simple as he thought. P.S. The immortal world Starry Sky was conceived before the book was opened, so it cannot be changed. This is the most important transition. Without this scene, the later parts of the book cannot be unfolded. I hope everyone will be patient and read on. The immortal world Starry Sky will definitely be very exciting and will not let everyone down. Chapter 2785. Shuang Shuang, what's wrong? Qin Shuang Shuang had a helpless expression as she said, Brother Long, if you want to enter Phoenix Ancient City, you need to accept a spirit stone. Spirit stone? Longao didn't know much about spirit stones. After all, he had been cultivating ever since he woke up. Everything he knew was what he wanted to know. As for spirit stones, he had never heard Qin Shuang Shuang mention it before. Could it be that Brother Long doesn't know about spirit stones? Qin Shuang Shuang was completely shocked. As long as it was a cultivator of the Purple Fate continent, it was impossible for them not to know what spirit stones were. It could be said like this. Without spirit stones, it could be said that it was difficult to move an inch in the Purple Fate continent. She simply explained what spirit stones were. So it was like this. According to Qin Shuang Shuang, Spirit stones were a type of stone that stored the spirit energy of heaven and earth. This type of spirit stone was the currency of the Purple Fate continent. No matter what one did, they needed spirit stones as the foundation. Not only that, spirit stones could be directly swallowed and absorb the spirit energy of heaven and earth within to cultivate. The spirit energy of heaven and earth within spirit stones was much thicker than the spirit energy of heaven and earth outside. It was more suitable for cultivators to cultivate. It wasn't that Qin Shuangxuang didn't have spirit stones, it was just that she had relatively less. Because of this, Qin Shuangxuang couldn't bear to lose 2 spirit stones at once. The outer sect disciples of the 9 Immortal Palace didn't have the slightest advantage. They couldn't even obtain a single spirit stone from the 9 Immortal Palace. This was truly a troublesome matter. Shuangxuang, follow me. I'll bring you into Phoenix Ancient City. Brother Long, the spirit stone's on me. For some reason, Qin Shuangxuang suddenly changed her mind and said, Brother Long, if you really want to enter Phoenix Ancient City to take a look, I can bring you there. But if you want to buy pill furnaces and spirit herbs, I can't do that. Even the most common pill furnace and the worst spirit grass were not things that she could afford. Even if she was an inner sect disciple or a cultivator above the foundation establishment stage, she could not casually buy things in the ancient Phoenix City. Longao didn't mind and pulled Qin Shuangxuang out of Maple Leaf Village. Maple Leaf Village wasn't very far from Phoenix Ancient City. It would take a few hours. Phoenix Ancient City was one of the largest cities of the Purple Fate continent and belonged to the 9 Immortal Palace. Just as Qin Shuangxuang said, if one wanted to enter Phoenix Ancient City, everyone had to pay a low-grade spirit stone. Spirit stones were further divided into low-grade spirit stones, mid-grade spirit stones, high-grade spirit stones, and top-grade spirit stones. Generally, high-grade and top-grade spirit stones were very rare. Brother Long, what are you going to do? Until now, Qin Shuangxuang still didn't know what Brother Long wanted to do. After all, buying alchemy furnaces and spiritual herbs required a lot of spirit stones. Could it be that Big Brother Long wants to snatch it? It seemed a little unlikely that this would happen. Shuangxuang, let's sell some things now and exchange them for spirit stones before we buy the alchemy furnace. As he spoke, Longao found a bustling street and took out various weapons from his space ring. He even took out some extremely precious spiritual herbs that he could not use. When Longao had left the Sky Martial continent and entered the vast starry sky, he had naturally snatched some spiritual grasses and powerful weapons. However, as his cultivation continued to increase, regardless of whether it was spiritual herbs or weapons, they were no longer of much use to him. Spiritual weapon, it's actually a spiritual weapon. And these spiritual grasses, Brother Long, where did you get them? As soon as she asked, Qin Shuangxuang knew that she had misspoken. After all, there were some things that shouldn't be asked, even if they were friends. Longao just smiled and didn't take it to heart. Who allowed you to set up a stall here? Just as Longao and Qin Shuangxuang were about to sell, 2 youths came from not far away. They were only qi refining cultivators. However, when the 2 came in front of Longao, before Longao could say anything, they continued, according to the rules of the city, you have to take out half of what you want to sell. Otherwise, you have to pay 100 low-grade spirit stones. The 2 of them stared at the spiritual qi on the ground. They didn't expect that 2 country bumpkins would have so much spiritual qi. If they could get half of what they wanted and 100 low-grade spirit stones, it would be a very good thing. Brother Long, they are the local tyrants of Phoenix Ancient City. Local tyrants? Aren't they the so-called hooligans? Qin Shuangxuang naturally knew the 2 of them. The 2 of them were outer sect disciples of Phoenix Ancient City. Relying on their family's deterrence, the 2 of them didn't cultivate properly. Instead, they stayed in the city and became hooligans. The 2 of them had good eyesight. They knew who they should offend and who they shouldn't. Originally, the 2 of them were hesitant when Longao took out so many spiritual qi and spiritual qi. They wondered where this person came from and what his identity was. However, when they saw Qin Shuangxuang, the 2 of them didn't have any worries. Scram. Originally, Longao was prepared to enter Nine Immortal Palace and start refining pills. He wanted to see if he could raise his strength in the shortest time possible. Although his strength had been greatly reduced, Longao was very clear that this was because his strength had been forcefully suppressed for some reason. If he could rapidly increase his strength, then as his cultivation continued to increase, the attributeless primal chaos stone tablet within his body would also be refined. Longao had an intuition that made him pleasantly surprised. According to Longao's calculations, the reason his cultivation was greatly reduced was because of the attributeless chaos stone tablet in his body. Perhaps this was a chance for him to refine the attributeless chaos stone tablet. This was what Longao had just thought of. Therefore, he also knew that refining pills wouldn't be of much use to him. The most important thing was to quickly refine the attributeless chaos stone tablet. This way, not only would he be able to recover his peak strength, but he would also be able to advance to become a starry sky ruler. In the blink of an eye, everything on the ground disappeared. Without even waiting for the two of them to speak, Longao had already attacked. With a kick, the two of them were sent flying. At this moment, the two of them realized that they had kicked an iron plate this time. Of course, Qin Shuangxuang didn't know what had happened. Everything was fine. Why didn't Brother Long sell these things, and even kill the two of them? She immediately said impatiently, "Brother Long, you should leave first. The 9 Immortal Palaces enforcement team will be here soon." Qin Shuangxuang of course knew how strong the sex enforcement team was. Whether or not Brother Longao was in the right, killing people was something that was obvious. Once the enforcement team caught Longao, it was obvious what the result would be. Longao smiled and said carelessly, "Shuangxuang, I've already thought through many things, so I don't need to buy pill furnaces and spirit herbs." What did this mean? Not long after, 10 enforcement team members appeared. They were all Foundation Establishment realm. Seeing the 10 of them coming towards her, Qin Shuangxuang thought to herself that this time it was over. P.S. Last night, Little Nine already said that the Immortal Realm is a transition. It's also a chance for Longao to refine the Chaos Stone Tablet. This isn't much, and will end soon. Chapter 2786. Brother Long, let's leave this place quickly. Just as Qin Shuangxuang was about to pull Longao away, the situation suddenly changed. Qin Shuangxuang was shocked by the aura that was suddenly released from Longao's body. At this moment, Longao had already closed his eyes, not knowing what was going on. Qin Shuangxuang was completely stunned, not knowing what Longao was doing. Not long later, the 10-man enforcement team had already rushed over, and they were surrounded by people. What is this person doing? It's very likely that he has an epiphany. I've heard that powerful cultivators have a kind of opportunity. Once they have an epiphany, their realms can even jump continuously. Epiphany? As if they had already believed it, there were waves of exclamations coming from all around. The 10-man enforcement team didn't care about that. Longao and Qin Shuangxuang dared to kill people in Phoenix Ancient City. It was completely a provocation. No matter what their motive was, they had to kill them. Just as the 10 of them touched Longao, they were instantly sucked dry. That's right, the energy in their bodies was instantly sucked dry. Ah! Seeing the scene in front of them, everyone was completely shocked. They didn't know what was going on at all, but for this person to be able to suck the 10 enforcement team dry in an instant was already shocking enough. Longao's eyes were still tightly shut. As for what was going on, even Longao didn't understand. But soon, he knew what was going on. He didn't want to believe it. Could this be fate? Qin Shuangxuang, who didn't know what to do, suddenly had a change in expression. Her entire body began to tremble violently, as if she was having a seizure. Her face was filled with pain. For some reason, the elemental chaos stone tablet in Longao's body had already floated out. Not only that, the chaos stone tablet's aura directly covered the entire continent. Its speed was unimaginable. In the next second, countless experts from Shangqing Sect, 9 Immortal Palace, and Qingyun Sword Sect had all arrived. The current Phoenix Ancient City could be said to have reached its peak. Brother Goo, who is this person? I don't know. Seems like this person isn't from 9 Immortal Palace. In midair, the three men stood with their hands clasped behind their backs as they looked at the young man, especially the black stone tablet. The three of them were the master of the three great sects, as well as the tribulation-passing experts of the Purple Fate continent. They were only one step away from reaching a higher realm. Ha ha ha, so it's a chaos steel. Who would have thought that a mere low-level immortal plane would have a chaos steel? Fuck, the primal chaos stone tablet is mine. Who dares to touch it? Luo Chong, who do you think you are? Why is the primal chaos stone tablet yours? If you want to obtain the primal chaos stone tablet, you'll have to rely on your own abilities. What are you wasting time for? The three master immortals were busy trying to figure out what was going on. Suddenly, a series of maniacal laughter rang out from afar. Every single one of the auras was incomparably strong. Could it be? Before they could finish their words, the three of them, including everyone who dared to stay in the air, were all killed. They didn't even have the chance to react.
Ah.
Seeing the master of the 9 Immortals Palace and the other 2 master immortals being killed, the people who had stayed to watch the show all frantically scattered in all directions.
It was too terrifying.
In less than 5 minutes, the entire ancient Phoenix City was filled with people. Moreover, any one of them had strength that surpassed the tribulation realm. The space Longao was in was called the Immortal World. It was also the so-called Immortal World Starry Sky. The Immortal World Starry Sky had countless planes. It was similar to the vast space Longao was in before, except for the cultivation system. Once you successfully passed the tribulation, you would be a loose immortal. The cultivation levels of the Immortal World Starry Sky were loose immortal, human immortal, earth immortal, sky immortal, golden immortal, great principle golden immortal, mysterious immortal, 9 heaven mysterious immortal, high heaven immortal, immortal monarch, immortal king, immortal emperor, immortal emperor, immortal emperor, half-step starry sky ruler, starry sky ruler. The aura released by the primal chaos stone tablet not only covered the entire Purple Fate continent, but also spread out. The Immortal World Starry Sky was also divided into low-level planes, middle-level planes, and high-level planes. The Purple Fate continent was only a low-level plane. The strongest self-cultivators were only tribulation-passing experts. Normally, even loose immortals wouldn't be willing to step into a low-level plane. But now, the situation was completely different. No one knew about the primal chaos stone tablet in the vast space Longao was in, except for the peak martial artists. But for the Immortal World Starry Sky, it was a completely different concept. Anyone who entered the Immortal World Starry Sky, even the lowest level loose immortal, knew about the primal chaos stone tablet and the secret realm. Because if one wanted to reach the peak, which was the Starry Sky ruler, they had to devour the primal chaos stone tablet. The primal chaos stone tablet's aura was very strong. Even if many people couldn't sense it, there were still some who could. 1 spread to 10, 10 spread to 100, and countless self-cultivators flocked over. Countless self-cultivators, the strongest of which were immortal emperors. As for immortal monarchs, immortal emperors, and even immortal emperors, it wasn't that they didn't care about the primal chaos stone tablet, it was that they didn't know about it. It really is the primal chaos stone tablet. Looking at the floating primal chaos stone tablet in front of Longao, everyone chose Longao and Qin Shuangshuang. This was a heaven-defying treasure. Not to mention them, even a half-step Starry Sky ruler or a Starry Sky ruler would want to get their hands on it. Seeing that the black stone tablet in front of them was indeed the legendary Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, some people couldn't help but rush over to the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. But no matter who it was, as soon as they touched the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, they immediately screamed and stopped abruptly, sucked dry by the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. What was going on? Clearly, they had learned from the mistakes of others, but still, some people couldn't help but rush over. If it was anything else, it wouldn't matter. But the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, because everyone knew what it meant. Once they could devour the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, they could become a starry sky ruler. At that time, the immortal world's starry sky would be unhindered. However, as more and more people were sucked dry, it finally stopped. At a glance, there were people everywhere. They were densely packed, forming a dense mass of people. What was going on just now? Everyone began to focus on Longao, because they weren't idiots. The young man's eyes were closed, and the primal chaos stone tablet was right in front of him. Could it be that the young man had already obtained the primal chaos stone tablet and was refining it now? It seemed a bit ridiculous. Even if the young man had devoured the primal chaos stone tablet, he should have done it secretly. How could he do it so openly? Moreover, according to the rumors, refining the primal chaos stone tablet wasn't something that could be done overnight. Who knew how long it would take? P.S. 10 chapters will erupt tomorrow, and a few chapters will be released tonight. Longao's strength will recover quickly. Chapter 2787. Longao didn't know anything about the situation around him. Longao seemed to have entered a situation that even he didn't know about. Qin Shuangshuang's body floated in front of the tablet, and her body started to emit a weird aura. All of a sudden, Longao had already opened his eyes, but ignored everyone around him. He had already guessed that this would be the outcome. The tablet floated out, and the aura that it released, if it didn't attract all the experts, then it wouldn't be a tablet. What is going on? Although he had guessed a little, Longao still hoped that his guess wasn't right. Look! A cry of surprise came from the surroundings. Immediately after, an unbelievable scene happened. Qin Shuangshuang's body was wrapped by the aura released by the tablet. In a few minutes, her body started to change. The tablet is swallowing her essence blood. Unbelievable. Not to mention others, even Longao knew what was going on. He couldn't understand why the tablet was swallowing Qin Shuangshuang's essence blood. The essence blood had to activate the tablet before it could be refined. At that moment, Longao finally understood why he had been unable to succeed in refining the attributeless primal chaos tablet. So it was because the attributeless primal chaos tablet had not been activated at all. The other tablets weren't like that. Only the tablet that he had swallowed was activated. As for why the tablet wanted to swallow Qin Shuangshuang's essence blood, Longao still didn't know. As for the people around, they didn't dare to move. Everything that had happened was still fresh in their minds. The temptation of the tablet was huge, but compared to their lives, it wasn't enough. The tablet swallowed very slowly, like it was tasting something good. Qin Shuangshuang didn't look like she was in pain. Her face was calm, and her body stopped shaking. What was going on? Longao was surprised that the tablet could be activated and he could refine it in the future. However, he felt guilty for swallowing Qin Shuangshuang's essence blood for no reason. There was definitely something fishy going on. Otherwise, why would the tablet want to swallow Qin Shuangshuang's essence blood for no reason? Even if the tablet swallowed the essence blood slowly, there would be a time when it was done. He devoured for several hours. It was only half opened. Longao could clearly sense that he had only opened half of the primal chaos stone tablet. If he couldn't open the other half, he wouldn't be able to refine it in the future. He sighed deeply. Towards the attributeless primal chaos stone tablets, Longao had no way of dealing with them at all. How was he supposed to open the other half of the primal chaos tablet? Longao discovered that even though the primal chaos stone tablet swallowed Qin Shuangshuang's blood essence, Qin Shuangshuang was completely fine. Before Longao and the others could react, things were not over yet. After Qin Shuangshuang's blood essence was devoured, her entire body began to transform. Gradually, Qin Shuangshuang's body fell to the ground. She was no longer breathing. Longao had no idea what was going on. Although the chaos tablet had not been fully opened, he could not care less. Brat, hand over the primal chaos tablet. As long as one wasn't an idiot, one could tell that this youth had obtained the primal chaos tablet. The attributeless primal chaos tablet had already returned to Longao's body. However, he gently hugged Qin Shuangshuang. For some reason, his heart ached. It was as though he had a blood connection with Qin Shuangshuang. Did he know Qin Shuangshuang? Definitely not. Longao was almost certain that before this, he definitely didn't recognize the Qin Shuangshuang in his arms. However, if there wasn't any connection between them, then how could the attributeless primal chaos stone tablet that he had swallow Qin Shuangshuang's blood essence, and even open half of the attributeless primal chaos stone tablet? It was a complete mess. Longao didn't come to a conclusion. Even though he didn't know, he wasn't sure if Qin Shuangshuang was related to him. In fact, Longao even suspected that Qin Shuangshuang was related to his past life. Reincarnation itself existed, ignoring everyone around. The current Longao, even though he hadn't recovered to the peak of the universe immortal level, he had recovered more than half of it. As for when he would recover, it was just a matter of time. Kill. I gave you face, but you don't want it. Countless cultivators rushed forward. What a joke. Everyone knew what the primal chaos tablet meant. Such a heaven-defying treasure. No one would be willing to give it up. Humph! With a cold snort, Longao's cultivation had already recovered to the universe immortal level. According to the cultivation system, it was equivalent to the immortal emperor level. As for the peak of the universe immortal level, it was equivalent to the immortal emperor level. With such super strength, dealing with everyone was a piece of cake. Killing decisively. Longao didn't want to waste time. He was still hugging Qin Shuangshuang. However, his left hand started to draw in all directions. Using his finger as a sword Qi shot out rapidly. He didn't even use the primal chaos axe. *CK. Everyone cursed in their hearts. Even if Longao had some strength, how could he fight against the countless experts around him just by using his finger as a sword? They had seen arrogant people before, but they had never seen such an arrogant person. Everyone went crazy. There were even people who started killing. No matter who it was, as long as they had the primal chaos tablet, they could devour it. Such an opportunity was hard to come by. No one was willing to give it up.
Speed. Strength.
Just when everyone thought that they could easily destroy the young man, everything changed completely. What happened next was something that no one could have imagined. Longao used his finger as a sword and slashed out sword Qi continuously. No one could fight against it. Everywhere the sword Qi went, there was a bloody mist. In just a few seconds, 90% of the people around had fallen. There were corpses everywhere. What kind of strength was this? The remaining people were completely shocked. In the face of death, no one thought about taking the primal chaos tablet. They turned around and left immediately. Why didn't you run? Longao naturally wouldn't give these people any chance. His sword Qi was everywhere. Anyone who tried to run was killed by the sword Qi. The only one who didn't run was a burly man. Longao scanned with his consciousness and knew that this man was just a golden immortal. Chunhee was completely shocked. However, he calmed down quickly and whispered, "Sir, I have a way to wake your wife up."
What way?
Longao didn't care about his wife. He had a feeling that Qin Shuangshuang was related to him. Chapter 2788. Qin Shuangshuang's blood essence had been completely devoured by the Chaos Stone Tablet. Longao wasn't worried about this at all, because in a few minutes, Longao had already changed Qin Shuangshuang's blood essence. It didn't affect her at all. Only her primordial spirit. At this moment, Qin Shuangshuang's primordial spirit was very weak and could even be destroyed at any time. Longao could only temporarily suppress the destruction of Qin Shuangshuang's primordial spirit. As for saving her, it was almost impossible. How could Longao not be excited when he suddenly heard that this person had a way? He couldn't wait to ask. Chunhee was overjoyed. It seemed that he had made the right bet this time. If he were to run away like the others, he would definitely be killed by the other party. He wouldn't even have the slightest chance. No matter what, he had made the right bet. He didn't dare to hesitate at all. He immediately said, "Sir, among the many immortal emperors in the immortal world, there is an immortal emperor who has a star god artifact. As long as his primordial spirit isn't destroyed, he can recover no matter how serious his injuries are.
Oh,
Longao was very surprised. This star god artifact was really heaven-defying. Qin Shuangshuang's primordial spirit wasn't completely destroyed, only a trace was left. According to this person, he could save Qin Shuangshuang. Continue. Yes. Chunhe's attitude was as respectful as it could be, because he knew very well that as long as the other party wanted to, he could kill him in minutes. This immortal emperor is called the Eternal Immortal Emperor. The star god artifact in his hand is called the 9 Revolutions Life and Death Mirror. Where can I find the Eternal Immortal Emperors? Chunhe was shocked. Although Chunhe knew about the Eternal Immortal Emperor and the 9 Revolutions Life and Death Mirror, it was almost impossible to find this person and ask the Eternal Immortal Emperor for help. After all, what he knew wasn't a secret at all. Everyone in the immortal world knew about it.
sir.
How could Longao not know what this person was thinking? Without waiting for him to speak, Longao waved his hand and said, "Just tell me where to find the Eternal Immortal Emperor." Yes, according to the rumors, the Eternal Immortal Emperor has been staying in the Eternal Immortal Palace in the Eternal Immortal Plane. After telling Long Immortal Emperor the exact location of the plane, Chunhe finally heaved a sigh of relief. Until now, Chunhe didn't even know if he would be able to keep his life. After all, people who liked to kill were usually capricious.
Ah,
Looking at the 2 people who had already left, Chunhe looked at the sword that the other party had just given him. It was clearly a celestial sword, and its grade was very high. He knew very well in his heart. It was a blessing in disguise. Now that Longao had recovered to the starry sky immortal realm, he could leave the purple fate continent as he pleased. The starry sky of the immortal realm was boundless and filled with countless planes. There were countless immortal emperors in the immortal world, but Eternal Immortal Emperor was one of the strongest. No one dared to provoke him unless they were Eternal Immortal Emperor, a half-step space ruler, or even a space ruler. Longao carried Qin Shuangshuang and rushed to the immortality plane as fast as he could. Longao didn't know how long Qin Shuangshuang could last. Once her primordial spirit completely disappeared, it would be useless even if he found the Eternal Immortal Emperor.
speed.
Longao kept using time teleportation, and his speed had already reached the limit. Dizziness. Even with a clear location of the plains, Longao found that he couldn't tell north from south even after teleporting for so long. He didn't know what was going on. There was nothing he could do. Longao could only go to one of the plains to see what was going on. Golden Immortal? Longao smiled and stopped the person in front of him, asking, "Sir, may I ask how to get to the immortality plane?" The Golden Immortal was startled to find someone blocking his way, but when he saw the situation of the 2, he understood Longao's general meaning. "Forgive me for being blunt, but I can see that you want to go to the immortality plane to save Eternal Immortal Emperor and your wife." Longao nodded in agreement. "Let me give you a piece of advice. It's best to give up. It's almost impossible to ask Eternal Immortal Emperor for help." How could Longao not know what he meant? Immortal emperors were high and mighty. How could they save ordinary people? Even immortal venerables couldn't, unless it was an immortal emperor of the same level. Longao didn't think so, because his cultivation base had smoothly broken through to Starry Sky Immortal, and he himself had the strength of an immortal emperor. Longao was full of confidence. With his strength, he could almost dominate the ranks of immortal emperors. Even if he encountered a mortal emperor, he could fight and even kill him. "May I know how to get to the immortality plane?" The Golden Immortal didn't say much when he saw Longao was so ignorant. He said, "The fastest way to get to the immortality plane is to keep teleporting." Teleportation array. Longao didn't expect that there would be a teleportation array in the immortal world, and it was more powerful than the one in the vast starry sky where he was. Somewhere in the plane, 2 heavenly immortals stood guard over the teleportation array, and they kept collecting the spirit stones needed to pay for the teleportation array. At any rate, the teleportation array was not something that could be used to teleport anyone. Even the shortest distance required a considerable amount of spirit stones. Not to mention, this was a large-scale teleportation array. Because of this, ordinary cultivators couldn't afford to use the teleportation array at all. Even if they could, it would only be used once or twice. At this moment, the two suddenly stood up and looked at the man who was not far away. They bowed respectfully and said, "Greetings, Immortal Emperor." Immortal Emperor? Everyone gasped when they saw the man in front of the teleportation array. After all, they knew very well what it meant to be an immortal emperor. Especially when they saw the man's face. Some of them were so scared that their legs trembled and they almost knelt down. Immortal Emperor Slaughter. It's actually Immortal Emperor Slaughter. Hearing the words Immortal Emperor Slaughter, everyone retreated obediently because Immortal Emperor Slaughter was too famous in the vast starry sky. He was as famous as Immortal Emperor Eternal Life. However, he was born to like killing. He once slaughtered thousands of planes in a day. One could imagine how terrifying Immortal Emperor Slaughter was. I want to go to the immortality plane. Teleport me immediately. Immortal Emperor, you can't teleport directly to the immortality plane from here. Before the man could finish his words, he spat out a mist of blood and slowly fell to the ground. Until he died, he didn't know why. He didn't say anything wrong. However, many people around knew that Immortal Emperor Slaughter didn't need a reason to kill. He could kill anyone he wanted. No matter what, his strength was there. Chapter 2789. Sir Immortal Emperor. This. The remaining person was scared out of his wits. He knew the character of Immortal Emperor Slaughter all too well. Even if he were to be killed, the forces behind him would not even utter a single word. Unless one's brain was flooded with water, they would not dare to provoke Immortal Emperor Slaughter. Teleport me to the other planes first. The faster, the better. Yes. This person was scared out of his wits long ago. He immediately activated the teleportation formation as fast as he could. Because of the rumors of Immortal Emperor Slaughter and the scene that had just happened, everyone who wanted to teleport had long retreated as far as they could. It was only after Immortal Emperor Slaughter was done that they dared to continue. In other words, this time around, Immortal Emperor Slaughter was the only one who was teleported. Just the thought of it was enough to make one feel awesome. Not only was Immortal Emperor Slaughter teleported alone, he did not even have to pay any spirit stones. Forget about spirit stones. It was unknown if he could even keep his life. He was extremely satisfied. Immortal Emperor Slaughter was in an extremely good mood today. If it were any other time, he would have long gone on a killing spree. Otherwise, his name would not be Slaughter. Just as Slaughter was about to enter the teleportation formation and teleport, a figure appeared. Strictly speaking, it should be two figures that appeared in the blink of an eye. Before anyone could react, the teleportation formation had already been activated. With a flash of light, the two figures disappeared without a trace. The people who had activated the teleportation formation, including those who were watching the show from afar, were completely dumbfounded. To think that someone would dare to snatch Immortal Emperor Slaughter's teleportation formation. Was he tired of living? Not to mention the others. Even Immortal Emperor Slaughter was a little confused. His endless rage turned into endless killing intent that killed everyone who was watching the show. Before he left, Immortal Emperor Slaughter even killed the person who had activated the teleportation formation. No matter who you are, to dare to provoke your Immortal Emperor, I'll make sure you suffer a fate worse than death. Something as such had never happened before. Even if it were immortal emperors of the same level, or even those who were on par with him, none of them would dare to do such a thing. This was a complete slap in the face. If he did not kill this person, he would not be able to swallow this anger down. Just the face alone would be a huge humiliation. What was up with that person earlier on? That person even asked me what was the fastest way to get to the Eternal Life plane. How dare he snatch Immortal Emperor Slaughter's teleportation formation? He's really tired of living. Until now, no one had reacted because such a thing was simply unheard of. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they would have found it hard to believe. Could this person also be an immortal emperor? It was complete nonsense. However, stealing a teleportation formation to save a life was understandable. However, stealing Immortal Emperor Slaughter's teleportation formation was too unlucky. Hopefully, this person wouldn't die too tragically. The person who had stolen Immortal Emperor Slaughter's teleportation formation was none other than Longao. He didn't know that Immortal Emperor Slaughter was still puzzled when he entered the teleportation array. Why did everyone leave instead of entering the teleportation array? In order to get to the immortality plane as quickly as possible, Longao didn't care about anything else and directly entered the teleportation array. In the next plane, as soon as Longao was teleported, he immediately found the next teleportation array and prepared to continue teleporting. According to the information he had gathered, he would need to teleport dozens of times in a row to reach the plane of immortality. Time was running out. Longao didn't know how long Qin Shuang could last in Chaos Hall, but the sooner, the better. In the beginning, Longao had indeed forgotten. However, after the teleportation, Longao gradually calmed down. It wasn't a good idea to carry Qin Shuang like this. If there was danger, he couldn't even take care of himself. He first put Qin Shuang in Chaos Hall. No matter who it was, they could stay in Chaos Hall for 3 months. Once the time was up, they would be killed by Chaos Hall. This was the real reason why Longao didn't put his family in Chaos Hall. 30,000 Spirit Stones. Hearing the location of the plane that Longao reported, the legendary personnel sneered in his heart. One look and he knew that the other party was a country bumpkin. There weren't many opportunities to rip him off. He had to rip him off ruthlessly. Longao didn't have the so-called spirit stones on him. If it was any other time, he might think of ways to get some spirit stones. However, he definitely couldn't do that now. He was racing against time. Humph. With a cold snort, Longao directly grabbed the other party's neck and said coldly, "I don't have time to talk nonsense with you. Open the plane immediately." Otherwise, although Longao didn't finish his words, the meaning of his words was very clear. Everyone around was scared silly by the young man who had just appeared. Doing so was nothing more than courting death. After all, the teleportation array of every plane was controlled by the super forces. This was also why very few people dared to touch the teleportation array. However, this person actually dared to not pay the spirit stones. Did he think that he was an immortal emperor? He was really reckless. The teleportation personnel was also a little dumbfounded. Ever since he was assigned here, such a thing had never happened. He was a little at a loss. However, looking at the cold eyes of the young man in front of him, he couldn't help but shiver. It was too terrifying. "Yes, sir. I will open the teleportation array immediately." As soon as the teleportation array was opened, Longao had already entered the teleportation array and left quickly.
Stop.
The moment Longao disappeared, Immortal Emperor Slaughter had already rushed over. In his opinion, the other party must be afraid of him. The more he thought about it, the angrier he became. This person was too arrogant. Immortal Emperor Slaughter. Let's retreat quickly. Immortal Emperor Slaughter was like a plague. Wherever he went, everyone would retreat. After all, Immortal Emperor Slaughter was too famous, especially for his slaughter. No matter what the reason was, as long as he didn't like you, he would start a massacre. Who knew when Immortal Emperor Slaughter would find you an eyesore? Therefore, the best way was to hide as far away as possible from the place where Immortal Emperor Slaughter appeared. Seeing Immortal Emperor Slaughter, the teleportation personnel who just sent Longao away became nervous again. However, he wasn't afraid. Even though Immortal Emperor Slaughter was infamous, the power behind him wasn't weak either. Even Immortal Emperor Slaughter wouldn't dare to casually provoke the power behind him. Just like what this person thought, ordinary Immortal Emperors, even Immortal Emperor Slaughter, absolutely wouldn't dare to casually provoke a major power. Before this, he only chose to kill them. The major power behind this plane was absolutely not something he could provoke. "Sir Immortal Emperor, may I ask where you're going?" "Screw you. Who told you to open the teleportation array for him? You're courting death." Immortal Emperor Slaughter wouldn't have provoked this person under normal circumstances. However, the situation was different now. Immortal Emperor Slaughter was already extremely angry. Now, someone actually dared to provoke him. Not only that, the personnel even opened the teleportation array for the other party. Chapter 2790. The teleportation personnel were a little confused. What did he do wrong? That person almost killed him, and now there was an even more ruthless Immortal Emperor Slaughter. Thinking that the person in front of him was Immortal Emperor Slaughter, he wanted to die. When he was unlucky, he couldn't even drink cold water. Lord Immortal Emperor, just now.
Die.
Immortal Emperor Slaughter directly killed him, and the other teleportation personnel immediately activated the teleportation array to send this killing god away. After Immortal Emperor Slaughter left, everyone heaved a sigh of relief. The current Immortal Emperor Slaughter was furious beyond words. The other party was obviously going to the Eternal Life Plane. No matter who you are, I will tear you into pieces. Thinking of this, Immortal Emperor Slaughter was not in a hurry. Anyway, the other party was going to the same destination as him. When the time came, wouldn't it be better to cheat in the Eternal Life Plane? From the beginning to the end, Longao did not know that Immortal Emperor Slaughter was chasing after him. He just wanted to get to the Eternal Life Plane in the shortest time possible.
Time.
Time was tight. Longao's speed soared to the limit. Even so, after a few hours, Longao finally arrived in front of the Eternal Life Plane. As expected, releasing his primordial spirit, Longao clearly sensed that there was an Immortal Emperor-level figure in the Eternal Life Plane. If there was no accident, it must be the so-called Eternal Life Immortal Emperor. On the other side, the news of the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet in the Purple Fate continent had spread throughout the entire immortal world. Everyone knew what the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet meant. Such a temptation was absolutely irresistible. The entire immortal world was in an uproar. Everyone was looking for Longao's traces. Even the Immortal Emperor, and Half-Step Starry Sky Ruler were all on the move. For a Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, any price would be paid. Looking at the Eternal Life Plane in front of him, Longao did not hesitate. Whether the Eternal Life Immortal Emperor was willing to help or not, he had to try. He took a step forward. Longao's figure had already entered the Eternal Life Plane. What a dense heaven and earth spirit energy! Longao sighed in his heart. The heaven and earth spirit energy of the immortal world was far above the vast space he was in. No wonder the people here were generally stronger. Starry sky, starry sky, starry sky. After going through the Jianling Mountains passageway and what happened in the immortal realm Starry Sky, Longao was almost certain that there were more than 3 vast starry skies. There must be other vast starry skies. Could it be that the vast starry sky was like a plane, with countless vast starry skies? Longao knew that if nothing unexpected happened, his guess should be correct. It was very shocking. If this matter were to spread, no one would believe it, whether it was in the vast starry sky or the current starry sky of the immortal world. He did not continue to dwell on the matter of the vast starry sky, because now is not the time. I don't believe that I can't catch up to you. Longao had just stepped into the Eternal Life Plane, and before he could even find the Eternal Life Immortal Emperor, a man quickly came in from outside. It was none other than Immortal Emperor Slaughter, who was chasing after them. Who are you? It would have been better if Longao didn't ask. In the eyes of Immortal Emperor Slaughter, Longao was deliberately provoking him. After so many years, no one had dared to provoke him like this. Good, very good, very good. Looking at the angry man, Longao was completely confused. He didn't know what the other party meant, but the other party was Immortal Emperor Slaughter. Longao had to be careful. Although his cultivation had successfully recovered to the Starry Sky Immortal Realm, which was equivalent to the Immortal Emperor Realm, the strength of the person in front of him was obviously very strong, especially when he didn't know the strength of the cultivators in this vast starry sky. Be careful in everything. Caution is the parent of safety.
Who are you?
You don't even know who I am and you dare to provoke me. You're really arrogant. Get lost. Longao didn't want to talk nonsense with the person in front of him. Even if the strength of the man in front of him was good, he didn't have time. After all, Qin Shuangshuang's primordial spirit was getting weaker and weaker. Who knew when it would disappear completely? He had to find the eternal life immortal emperor in the shortest time possible. Longao felt more and more that this Qin Shuangshuang had a great relationship with him, but he didn't know it now. Brother Tan, this is the eternal life plane. Why don't you give me some face? Just when immortal Emperor Slaughter was about to attack, an old man suddenly appeared. Longao didn't need to guess who this old man was. He must be the target he was looking for this time, the eternal life immortal emperor. This person provoked me again and again. If I don't kill him today, I'm not the immortal Emperor Slaughter. Immortal Emperor Slaughter? Who the hell is this immortal Emperor Slaughter? Longao deliberately said this. Until now, he didn't know how he provoked this immortal Emperor Slaughter. However, Longao felt that he couldn't see through eternal life immortal emperor. Could it be that eternal life immortal emperor already? Eternal life immortal emperor always had a smile on his face. He said with a smile, Brother Tan, are you not willing to give me some face? Nangongyin, we've been friends for many years yet you're opposing me here. What are you trying to do? Immortal Emperor Slaughter was furious after seeing eternal life immortal emperor speaking up for eternal life. He had good friends, and eternal life immortal emperor was one of them. This time, he purposely came here to chat with this good friend. He didn't expect eternal life immortal emperor to act like this. Before eternal life immortal emperor could speak, Longao said impatiently, I don't care what kind of bird you are. You better shut up now. Otherwise, I don't mind killing you. Immortal Emperor Slaughter was an extremely smart person to be able to become an immortal emperor. Even though he couldn't see through eternal life immortal emperor's strength and thought that eternal life immortal emperor had cultivated a powerful secret technique, the fact that eternal life immortal emperor still dared to provoke him meant that eternal life immortal emperor was much stronger than him. Eternal life wasn't surprised at all. He nodded and said, breaking through to the immortal emperor realm at such a young age, you'll definitely become an eternal immortal emperor in the future. Immortal emperor? Only an immortal emperor? Of course, immortal Emperor Slaughter didn't doubt Eternal Life's words because he knew Eternal Life's abilities. If Eternal Life said that Eternal Life was an immortal emperor, then Eternal Life must be an immortal emperor. If the other party was the so-called immortal emperor, he might have chosen to leave. However, the other party was only an immortal emperor. Only a few people in the same realm could make him feel fear. Therefore, this young man in front of him was definitely not his match, even if he had already become an immortal emperor. Immortal Emperor Slaughter was very confident about this. Chapter 2791. You're courting death. Longao didn't want to continue talking nonsense. He didn't wait for Immortal Emperor Slaughter to react. He took a step forward and punched out. Longao wasn't afraid of anyone at the same level as him. Immortal Emperor Slaughter was completely stunned. He didn't expect that Lin Fan would take the initiative to attack him. He had to kill Lin Fan for this provocation. This time, even Immortal Emperor Eternal Life didn't continue to persuade him. He admired Longao, but he found out that Longao was so arrogant that Immortal Emperor Slaughter started to waver, but he took the initiative to attack. Both Immortal Emperor Eternal Life and Immortal Emperor Slaughter didn't think that Longao was that strong. In the end, it was because Longao was too young. Immortal Emperor Slaughter was furious. He wanted to kill Lin Fan. In the blink of an eye, Immortal Emperor Slaughter and Longao had met force with force. Both of their fists fiercely collided in the blink of an eye. There was a loud boom. Immortal Emperor Slaughter was sent flying by Longao's punch. He was shocked. Eternal Immortal Emperor never thought that Longao's strength would be so strong. Just a casual punch could send Immortal Emperor Slaughter flying. He knew very well how strong Immortal Emperor Slaughter was. Longao didn't show any mercy. He always had to be ruthless to his enemies. Why do you have to do this? Immortal Emperor Eternal Life finally attacked. However, Longao didn't show any mercy because he needed Immortal Emperor Eternal Life's help. Using his finger as a sword, Longao attacked Immortal Emperor Slaughter. Even though he knew that Immortal Emperor Eternal Life was in front of him, Longao still attacked. Space crack. Whether it was Immortal Emperor Slaughter or Immortal Emperor Yongsheng, both of them were completely shocked when they saw the spatial rifts around them. However, Immortal Emperor Eternal Life's strength was far beyond that of an Immortal Emperor. As expected, Longao wasn't surprised at all because he had guessed that Immortal Emperor Eternal Life had successfully broken through to become the so-called Immortal Emperor. Sir, please stop. Longao was not afraid of Immortal Emperor Yongsheng, even if Immortal Emperor Yongsheng had successfully broken through to Immortal Emperor Yongsheng. You can actually shatter the starry sky. Immortal Emperor Slaughter was scared out of his wits. If it wasn't for Immortal Emperor Yongsheng, he would have been devoured by the spatial crack. Unbelievable. Until now, the two Immortal Emperors still couldn't figure out how Longao did it. Whether it was the vast space where Longao once resided or the current immortal world, no one could shatter space. Not even the ruler of space could do so. Longao was the only one who could shatter the starry sky. Who exactly are you? Immortal Emperor Slaughter wasn't angry at all. If it was in the past, he would have attacked long ago. Longao, are you the eternal immortal emperor? Brother Long, if you don't mind, you can call me by my name, Nangong. Longao smiled and said, Brother Nangong, I have a friend who is gravely injured. Her soul can disappear at any moment, so I hope you can save her. He wasn't surprised at all. Immortal Emperor Yongsheng naturally knew how heaven-defying his divine tool was. As long as the soul wasn't destroyed, it could be healed. Immortal Emperor Yongsheng wouldn't save an ordinary person. After all, if everyone in the vast starry sky begged him and he had to save them, he would be exhausted to death. Let me take a look first. Longao gently carried Qin Shuangshuang out of the primal chaos palace. For some reason, Longao had an indescribable feeling when he saw Qin Shuangshuang. It was as if they had known each other for countless years. Nangong Yin's expression instantly turned ugly after seeing the injuries of the girl in Longao's arms. He arrived in front of Longao and grabbed Qin Shuangshuang's pulse. His expression became more and more serious. The essence blood has been completely devoured. It has just been reborn and 99% of her soul has disappeared. Nangong Yin didn't finish speaking. Qin Shuangshuang was in a dire situation. Her soul could be destroyed at any moment. At that time, she wouldn't even have the chance to enter reincarnation. How is it? Could it be that even Nangong Yin couldn't do anything? Longao's heart thumped when he saw Immortal Emperor Yongsheng's solemn expression. No matter what price he had to pay, he had to save Qin Shuangshuang. Brother Long, although my 99 Revolutions life and death mirror can heal all injuries, even if only a strand of soul is left, forgive me for being blunt. Is this young lady a reincarnated body? Reincarnated? I don't know. How can you be sure? Brother Nangong is very capable. If he says this girl is reincarnated, then she must be. There is no doubt about it. Ignoring Immortal Emperor Slaughter, Longao didn't have much doubt. After all, there was no need for Nangong Yin to lie to him. If Qin Shuangshuang was really reincarnated, then he felt as if he had known Qin Shuangshuang for countless years. Was he also reincarnated? Reincarnated? Longao didn't believe it. He still needed to study this matter. However, the most important thing now was to think of a way to save Qin Shuangshuang. No matter what price he had to pay, it was worth it. Brother Nangong, do you have a way? Yes, but it's almost impossible. Even your 9 Revolutions life and death mirror can't do it? Longao was completely worried. If this was the case, then this matter would be very troublesome. As I said earlier, Although my 9 revolutions life and death mirror is powerful, it's not omnipotent. I don't know why, but this girl's situation is too special. I'm almost certain that even my 9 revolutions life and death mirror can't save her. Longao's heart sank. He knew that Nangong-in wouldn't purposely not save Qin Shuangshuang. He helplessly said, "Just tell me if you have a way." Nangong-in glanced at Immortal Emperor Slaughter next to him and said, "You've finished listening to today's matter." Before Nangong-in could finish, Immortal Emperor Slaughter interrupted, "You should know what kind of person I am. I won't tell anyone." Longao was very curious. What was so secretive about this matter? "Brother Long, have you heard of the Primal Chaos Tablets?" "I've heard of them." Not only did he hear that there was a Primal Chaos Tablet in his body, but many people in the Soaring Dragon Empire had already devoured them. However, Longao didn't say it out loud. "I've thought of many methods, but after thinking for a long time, I could only think of one method, which is to devour the Primal Chaos Tablet and refine it. This way, due to the suppression of the Primal Chaos Tablet, this girl's soul can be preserved." Chapter 2792. Apart from devouring Primal Chaos Tablets, is there no other way? Longao knew that things were going to get troublesome. If it was before, Longao wouldn't have any problems. He had so many Primal Chaos Tablets, giving Qin Shuangshuang one wouldn't be a problem at all. But now, the situation was different. He had already given away all the Primal Chaos Tablets he had. As for the non-attributed Primal Chaos Tablets, even if he was willing, Qin Shuangshuang wouldn't be able to devour them. "I can use the 9 revolution life death mirror to protect this lady's primal spirit from being destroyed. But to recover, she still needs to devour Primal Chaos Tablets." This was the first time he encountered such a situation. Longao had seen countless heavily injured people, but he had never seen such a situation. She actually used Primal Chaos Tablets to recover. If every heavily injured person had to do this, then things would be really troublesome. Just think. In the entire vast universe, how many people could obtain Primal Chaos Tablets? Brother Nangong, I want to ask, how many rulers are there in the immortal universe? Nangong-in had already taken out the 9 revolution life death mirror and placed a seal on Qin Shuangshuang's primal spirit. This way, as long as she didn't continue to be heavily injured, her primal spirit shouldn't disappear in a short period of time. Wiping the sweat off his forehead, Nangong-in replied, "I don't know." "Don't know." Longao was a bit dumbfounded. Nangong-in was an immortal emperor. His strength stood at the peak of the vast universe. How could he not know how many rulers were there in the immortal universe? He was very curious. Could it be that Nangong-in had some hidden troubles? Nangong-in didn't speak, but Immortal Emperor Slaughter said, "Longao, Brother Nangong really doesn't know. Not to mention us, even half-step rulers don't know. As for whether the rulers know, it's still unknown." So Nangong-in really didn't know what was going on. Longao didn't continue hating Immortal Emperor Slaughter. He believed that with the previous incident, even if Immortal Emperor Slaughter had 10,000 guts, Immortal Emperor Slaughter wouldn't dare to continue attacking him. "Brother Long, we're not being perfunctory. There should be no less than a few hundred rulers in the immortal universe. As for how many there are, no one knows."
Complete shock.
Even if Longao was beaten to death, he would never have imagined that there would be no less than a few hundred rulers of the starry skies in the immortal world.
What kind of concept was that?
Longao knew very well what it meant to have hundreds of astral rulers, or even more. But after thinking about it, he felt relieved. Back then, there were thousands of universe dominators in the vast universe, but for some reason, all of them had disappeared. Perhaps only Cloud Emperor and a few others were left. How many ruler of stars have mastered the power of primal chaos?
No.
Nangong Yin's words were very certain. Longao didn't have the slightest doubt. No matter what was said, grasping primal chaos force and not grasping primal chaos force were two different concepts. Based on his current strength and situation, It was obviously unrealistic for him to return to the vast starry sky from before. Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. If he wanted to obtain a Primal Chaos Tablet to save Qin Shuangshuang, he would have to obtain the materials on the spot. However, obtaining a Primal Chaos Tablet was not an easy task. However, Longao was well aware that the situation in the cosmos of the world of immortals was similar to the one he was in. As long as he was lucky, he would definitely be able to find a Primal Chaos Tablet. He seemed to be able to guess Longao's thoughts. Nangong Yin wanted to speak, but stopped. Brother Nangong, if you have something to say, why don't you speak frankly? Brother Long, I received news about a Primal Chaos Tablet a few days ago. If you hadn't come today, I'm afraid you wouldn't have been able to see me tomorrow. A Primal Chaos Tablet has appeared in the cosmos of the world of immortals? He was overjoyed. Longao was currently fretting over what to do to obtain a Primal Chaos Tablet in the shortest time possible. Although Qin Shuangshuang's primordial spirit could be temporarily preserved thanks to the 9 Revolutions life-death mirror, this wasn't the way to go. A few days ago, I secretly received news that a Primal Chaos Tablet's presence had appeared in the Grand Orient Mountain. However, many astral rulers, half-step astral rulers, immortal emperors, and immortal emperors have all rushed there. At this point, Nangong Yin didn't continue speaking. However, both Longao and Immortal Emperor Slaughter were very clear about the dangers involved. Let's head to the Grand Orient Mountain immediately. Without even thinking, Longao had already decided to head to the Grand Orient Mountain. This was an opportunity for him. Immortal Emperor Slaughter nodded without hesitation, indicating his agreement to head to the Grand Orient Mountain. In fact, both of them were well aware of the significance of a Primal Chaos Tablet's presence in the Grand Orient Mountain. If countless experts were rushing there, and if they were unlucky, not only would they not obtain a Primal Chaos Tablet, they might even lose their lives. The reason Longao was heading to the Grand Orient Mountain was to save Qin Shuangshuang. After all, Nangong Yin had already said that Qin Shuangshuang had no other choice but to devour a Primal Chaos Tablet and rely on it to recover. As for Immortal Emperor Slaughter, he hoped to devour a Primal Chaos Tablet and become an astral ruler. The two of you, why don't the 3 of us head to the Grand Orient Mountain together? Why don't we form an alliance? After we enter the Grand Orient Mountain, if we can successfully obtain a Primal Chaos Tablet, we'll give it to the Fated One. What do you think? If it was any other time, Longao would definitely agree. But now, Brother Nangong, I'm planning to head to the Grand Orient Mountain alone. No matter if it was Immortal Emperor Slaughter or Immortal Emperor Yongsheng, how could they not know what Longao meant? Tanzhong was very unhappy in his heart, but because of Longao's terrifying strength, he dared not speak out. As for Nangong Yin, he didn't care at all. He smiled and said, "If that's the case, I won't force you." He left as soon as he said so. Looking at Longao's figure disappearing quickly, Tanzhong said angrily, "Brother Nangong, other than being able to shatter the starry sky, what else can this person do? He actually didn't come with us. I want to see if he can leave the Eastern Imperial Mountain alive." Nangong Yin said, "Longao isn't simple. Shattering the starry sky is something even an astral ruler can't do. If we can obtain this ability, we'll be invincible even in the same realm. We'll snatch it? Don't act rashly. I just said that Longao isn't simple. Let's head to the Grand Orient Mountain first. This time, I must succeed. It seems like fate is treating me well." Nangong Yin smiled, but Tanzhong was very curious. He didn't know what Nangong Yin wanted to do. Chapter 2793. Donghuang Mountain. Donghuang Mountain was located in the Donghuang Plain. There was no one in the entire plain, and it was one of the absolute forbidden lands in the immortal world. No matter who stepped into the Donghuang Mountain, there was no return. Even half-step starry sky rulers didn't dare to step into the Donghuang Plain. As for what was in the Donghuang Plain, no one knew. Normally, there wouldn't be anyone around the Donghuang Plain.
But now,
except for the starry sky rulers, No one dared to step into the Donghuang Plain, including half-step starry sky rulers. The primal chaos stone tablet was very tempting, but they couldn't lose their lives for it. Longao had also arrived at the Donghuang Plain. Looking at the densely packed crowd, he felt helpless. It seemed like the primal chaos stone tablet was very tempting. The weakest people here were immortal emperors. There were a lot of immortal emperors and hundreds of half-step starry sky rulers. Immortal world starry sky. Whether it was half-step starry sky rulers or starry sky rulers, there were hundreds of them. If it was in the vast starry sky, it would be unimaginable. Longao didn't care about the dangers of the Donghuang Mountain. As long as he could get the primal chaos stone tablet and save Qin Shuangshuang, it would be enough. Without even thinking, he took a step forward and rushed towards the Donghuang Plain. That person is only an immortal emperor. How dare he step into the Donghuang Plain? He doesn't know the difference between life and death. Seeing a figure enter the Donghuang Plain, there were exclamations. After all, the Donghuang Plain was a forbidden land in the immortal world starry sky. It was an absolute forbidden land. Except for the starry sky rulers, no one dared to step into it. A puny immortal emperor and a half-step starry sky ruler didn't even make a move. With regards to Longao risking his life to step into the East Emperor Plain, everyone knew clearly in their hearts. As Longao entered, people started to follow him into the Donghuang Plain. Although they didn't want to face death, the temptation of the primal chaos stone tablet was absolute. It was incomparable. Otherwise, these people wouldn't have come here. With the first, there would be a second and a third. In just a few minutes, half of the people were already pouring into the East Emperor realm. How could the remaining people continue to sit around and wait for death? If they didn't enter now and waited for others to obtain the primal chaos tablet, then even if they could enter, it would be too late. Thinking of this, the remaining people did not hesitate and immediately got up to enter the East Emperor realm. The East Emperor realm was boundless. No matter who it was, even if it was Longao, they couldn't use their primordial spirit to cover the entire dimension. From this, it could be seen how strange the East Emperor dimension was. Under normal circumstances, in a plane, even if it was a high-level plane, an immortal emperor could use his primordial spirit to cover the entire plane.
But now?
It was strange. This phenomenon was not only noticed by Longao, but also by others. Brother Nangong, look, Longao is over there. Nangong Yin and Tanzhong arrived together. As soon as they entered the East Imperial Plain, they noticed Longao in the distance. Now that Nangong Yin had successfully broken through to the immortal emperor realm, unless it was a half-step starry sky ruler, no one could defeat them. Let's not alert him first. I have a feeling that as long as we follow Longao, we'll be able to find the primal chaos tablet. Hearing Nangong Yin's words, Immortal Emperor Slaughter was very surprised. Although Longao was strong, the primal chaos tablet was an ethereal thing. However, Immortal Emperor Slaughter believed in Nangong Yin's words and did not say anything. The two followed Longao from afar and kept arguing until they reached the East Emperor Mountain. The East Emperor Mountain was located on the east side of the East Emperor realm. The entire mountain peak pierced the 9 heavens. Longao had just arrived at the Eastern Imperial Mountain and was about to enter the Eastern Imperial Mountain to check his luck. At this moment, miserable cries continuously sounded out from the Eastern Imperial Mountain in front of him, spreading throughout the entire world. It was especially ear-piercing. Hearing the screams, everyone who was about to enter the East Emperor Mountain stopped. The primal chaos tablet was important, but compared to their lives, it was not enough. There was a lot of discussion in the surroundings. No one knew what was going on at the East Emperor Mountain. However, someone soon discovered that there were countless figures coming out of the East Emperor Mountain. At a glance, there were at least a few hundred people. Among the several hundred people, each of them released a powerful aura. At a glance, even Longao was a little shocked because he could clearly sense that almost all of the people coming out of the East Emperor Mountain were starry sky rulers. What kind of concept was this? At first, Longao did not believe it. After all, several hundred starry sky rulers were not a joke. However, now that he saw it with his own eyes, Longao finally understood what it was like to have several hundred starry sky rulers appear at the same time. If the immortal world's starry sky was connected to the vast starry sky where he was before, there was no doubt that the immortal world's starry sky could rule over his vast starry sky. After all, the two starry skies were not on the same level. What was going on at the East Emperor Mountain? Why did several hundred starry sky rulers come out at the same time? It seemed that the East Emperor Mountain was not simple. However, Longao was not surprised at all. Since the Primal Chaos tablet appeared at the East Emperor Mountain, it was clear that the East Emperor Mountain was not simple. What is that person doing? The moment the several hundred starry sky rulers came out, a figure rushed into the East Emperor Mountain at the fastest speed. He did not care about the danger. Not to mention the others, even the several hundred starry sky rulers were shocked. They did not know if this person's brain had been damaged. The person who rushed in was none other than Longao. If it was any other time, Longao might be a little afraid. After all, even the starry sky rulers had to leave the East Emperor Mountain. It was almost certain that the East Emperor Mountain was not simple. However, the situation was different now. Longao was very clear about Qin Shuangshuang's situation. Even with the 9 revolution life and death mirror sealing her primordial spirit, Qin Shuangshuang's primordial spirit would not disappear for the time being. However, this was not the way to go. He had to get the Primal Chaos tablet. It was almost impossible to kill a starry sky ruler and take the Primal Chaos tablet by force. The only way was to enter the East Emperor Mountain. If he missed this opportunity, who knew how long it would take for the next one? Thinking of this, Longao did not hesitate to enter the East Emperor Mountain. He did not care if there was a mountain of knives or a sea of fire in front of him. P.S. The 7th chapter has been delivered. I stayed up late last night and woke up late in the morning. The remaining 3 chapters will be delivered in the afternoon and evening. Chapter 2794. As soon as he stepped into the Donghuang Mountain, Longao had a bad feeling. He was surrounded by a white fog. Even with his strength, he couldn't see more than a few thousand meters away. What did that mean? The Donghuang Mountain was too strange, but in order to save Qin Shuangshuang, Longao didn't care. He continued to move forward step by step. He had to get the Chaos Tablet. Longao didn't dare to be careless. He moved forward carefully. With the Chaos Axe in hand, the Donghuang Mountain could force hundreds of astral dominators out. Black fog erosion. Longao finally understood why the astral dominators were forced out of the Donghuang Mountain. It turned out that the black fog was the main culprit. At first, nothing happened. But as he went deeper and deeper into the mountain, the black fog began to devour his flesh and soul. It was very fast. Not only that, Longao found that the black fog was very strong. Even the astral dominators couldn't resist it, let alone ordinary people. That was why the astral dominators all left the Donghuang Mountain. According to Longao's guess, only an astral dominator who had mastered the power of chaos could resist the black fog. Retreat. Longao didn't want to make unnecessary sacrifices. He immediately turned and retreated. No matter what, he had to leave the Donghuang Mountain first. But the result? Before Longao could retreat, the surrounding black fog had already begun to crazily wrap around him. In just a few seconds, Longao's figure could no longer be seen. At this moment, the black fog around Longao was like a giant cocoon. Only the black fog could be seen. Longao could no longer be seen. Outside the Donghuang Mountain, hundreds of astral dominators had witnessed the horror of the black fog's erosion. If they were forcefully eroded by the black fog and didn't retreat early, the consequences would be unimaginable. With the lesson learned, no astral dominator dared to casually step into the Donghuang Mountain. They were very anxious. They knew there were astral dominators in the Donghuang Mountain, but they didn't dare to step in. The astral ruler didn't dare to enter the Grand Orient Mountain, But that didn't mean that others wouldn't. The temptation of the Chaos Stone Tablet was absolutely irresistible. Even though they knew that the Donghuang Mountain was dangerous, many of the space rulers would not have come out. Even so, there were still people who did not fear death and directly stepped into the Donghuang Mountain. Very soon, screams could be heard from the Donghuang Mountain. In less than a few minutes, the people who had entered had already stopped screaming. What did this mean? Everyone knew that everyone who had entered the Donghuang Mountain was dead. It seemed that the Starry Sky Ruler was strong enough to leave the Donghuang Mountain. The Donghuang Mountain intimidated everyone. Among the crowd, Brother Nangong, what should we do now? Immortal Emperor Slaughter also wanted to enter the Eastern Royal Mountain. After all, the primal Chaos Stone Tablet that he dreamed of obtaining was there. However, the screams from before still echoed in his ears. He wanted to, but he didn't have the courage. How could Nangong not understand Immortal Emperor Slaughter's intentions? He stared at the Eastern Royal Mountain with a solemn expression and didn't answer Immortal Emperor Slaughter's question. He was very curious. For some reason, Immortal Emperor Slaughter felt that something was wrong with Nangong. Ever since Longao stepped into the Immortal Plane, he had been like this. Especially after coming to the Donghuang Mountain, he had become even stranger. What was going on? No matter how much he thought about it, he could not figure it out. However, Immortal Emperor Slaughter had a bad premonition. In the end, he forcibly suppressed it. He and Nangong had been friends for many years. How could Nangong harm him? It seemed that he was overthinking. Nangong's expression became more and more solemn. In the next second, when no one dared to move, Nangong's body suddenly flew towards the Donghuang Mountain and disappeared without a trace. Not to mention the others, just Immortal Emperor Slaughter was completely stunned. He had felt that something was wrong with Nangong. It turned out that he wanted to enter the Donghuang Mountain. However, the situation of the Donghuang Mountain was very obvious. Anyone who entered would die, except for the Starry Sky Ruler. As for whether half-step Starry Sky Rulers could survive, it was still unknown because no half-step Starry Sky Ruler had ever entered the Donghuang Mountain. What was going on with Nangong? As a friend, Tanzhong was very worried about Nangong's safety. However, in the end, he endured it.
He was very clear about his own strength.
Even Immortal Emperor had died in the Donghuang Mountain, let alone him. If he forced his way into the Donghuang Mountain, only death would await him. In the face of life and death, even Immortal Emperor Slaughter was afraid. Nangong's speed was very fast. It seemed that he knew the situation of the Donghuang Mountain. A mirror appeared in his hand. It was the legendary 9 Revolution Life and Death Mirror. Nangong looked at the surrounding black fog and said to himself, after waiting for so many years, I finally got it. This time, I must succeed. The surrounding black fog did not show any mercy and immediately began to corrode Nangong. Under normal circumstances, even if Nangong's cultivation had smoothly broken through to Immortal Emperor, he would still not be able to resist the corrosion of the black fog. After all, dozens of Immortal Emperors had just died here. However, Nangong was not worried at all. Instead, he held the 9 Revolution Life and Death Mirror in his hand with a face full of expectation. The 9 Revolution Life and Death Mirror released 2 kinds of black and white light, which directly formed a black and white forbidden area around Nangong's body. The surrounding black fog could not approach at all. Nangong was overjoyed. Before entering, even Nangong did not have full confidence that he could resist the corrosion of the black fog with the 9 Revolution Life and Death Mirror in his hand. However, his guess was right. Looking at the surrounding black fog being blocked by the black and white light, Nangong became extremely excited. Without the slightest hesitation, Nangong took advantage of this opportunity and immediately quickened his pace. However, before he could take more than a few steps, he stopped and stared at the black fog cocoon in front of him, not knowing what it was. He was very curious. Nangong did not know what the black fog cocoon in front of him was. Although he had the 9 revolution life and death mirror in his hand, he still did not dare to touch the black fog cocoon.
Who knew what it was?
Nangong-in did not slow down and directly went around the black fog cocoon. Just as Nangong-in took a few steps away, the black fog cocoon began to crazily absorb the surrounding black fog. The absorption speed was very terrifying. Nangong-in suddenly turned around and looked at the black fog cocoon in front of him in shock. What was going on? Why would the black fog cocoon suddenly absorb the surrounding black fog? Nangong-in continuously retreated. However, he discovered that the black fog cocoon did not continue to corrode the surrounding black fog. Chapter 2795.
Donghuang Mountain.
The black fog around the entire Donghuang Mountain was being devoured by the black fog cocoon at a faster and faster speed. Everyone had already sensed it, but no one dared to casually step into the Donghuang Mountain. This was because no one knew what was going on inside the mountain. Inside the black fog cocoon, Longao also didn't know what had happened. He didn't know why he was wrapped up in the black fog. He couldn't even move an inch. He was very worried. But things had already come to this point, and he couldn't do anything about it. What's going on? Longao found that he was trapped in the black fog cocoon and was constantly devouring the black fog outside. The black fog was all pouring into his body. One should know. When he was outside, Longao personally experienced the horror of the black fog. Even he was eroded by the black fog. Even the starry sky dominator couldn't resist the black fog's erosion. Such a terrifying black fog was pouring into his body. He didn't know what would happen. He couldn't move an inch. Even if he wanted to get rid of the black fog in his body, he couldn't. What should he do? At this moment, Longao was completely helpless. He didn't know what to do at all. But gradually, he found that things weren't that bad. If the black fog eroded his body, it would only take a few minutes. But the result? Countless black fog poured into Longao's body and began to flow all over his body. But the black fog didn't linger and began to pour into his dantian. His cultivation base improved again, from Starry Sky Immortal Realm to Peak Starry Sky Immortal Realm. In other words, Longao had successfully recovered his peak strength.
And it was all thanks to the black fog.
If it wasn't for the black fog, who knew how long it would take to recover to Peak Starry Sky Immortal Realm? What was the black fog doing? Longao was very surprised because the black fog that poured into his body all entered his dantian and began to rotate. He didn't know what it was doing. The black fog didn't stay in his dantian for long. It began to leave his dantian and poured into the 9-colored lotus, primordial spirit.
Completely shocked.
But Longao wasn't too worried. Longao was very confident in his 9-colored lotus primordial spirit. The immortal primordial spirit wasn't just for show. Even if the black fog wanted to erode the 9-colored lotus primordial spirit, it was impossible. But the next scene completely shocked Longao. Because the black fog began to merge with the 9-colored lotus primordial spirit. Even if he wanted to stop it, it was impossible. He could only watch the two merge. Whether it was good or bad, he still didn't know. Time passed quickly. 10 days passed in the blink of an eye. In a short span of 10 days, all of the black mist in the entire eastern Imperial Mountain had disappeared. All of it had been sucked into the black mist cocoon. Strictly speaking, it had been sucked into Longao's body and fused with the 9-colored lotus primordial spirit. If others knew, what would others think if they knew it? From the beginning to the end, Nangong-in didn't even take half a step away. He firmly stared at the black fog cocoon as if he had already guessed something. He coldly muttered to himself, I didn't expect you to be one step faster than me. However, the final victor will still be me.
Crack, crack,
Crack. Just then, the black fog cocoon began to crack. Soon, the entire black fog cocoon fell to the ground and disappeared without a trace. Stretching his back, Longao couldn't help but feel elated. He hadn't expected that after his 9-colored lotus primordial spirit fused with the black fog, not only would it not be affected, it would even grow stronger. primordial spirit attacks. Let alone martial artists of the same level, even a half-step starry sky ruler would have their primordial spirits destroyed easily.
Not only that,
Longao even had a feeling that even a starry sky ruler wouldn't dare to take his primordial spirit attacks head-on. Otherwise, he could definitely injure the starry sky ruler severely. Even though it was a little ridiculous, Longao was certain of it. He trusted his intuition. But even now, he still didn't know what the black fog was. Why would it want to merge with his primordial spirit for no reason? If he couldn't figure it out, then he wouldn't think about it. Longao knew that some things would naturally be solved when the time came. There was no point in dwelling on it. It was just a waste of time. Brother Nangong, you're here as well? Longao was almost certain that other than himself, no one else would dare to take a single step into the East Imperial Mountain. Other than the starry sky rulers being forced out, everyone who had entered the East Imperial Mountain was dead. No matter how tempting the Chaos Stone Tablet was, no one would be willing to risk their lives for it. That was the reason why Longao was so curious. No one else dared to casually step into the East Imperial Mountain. Only Nangong dared to do so. And he was even standing before him unscathed. This was the first time that Longao realized that Nangong wasn't as simple as he had thought. He gave off an unfathomable feeling. This was also the reason why Longao was wary of Nangong. Even though Nangong had once used the 9 revolving life and death mirror to protect Qin Shuangshuang's primordial spirit, Longao knew clearly in his heart that whether he was a friend or foe was still unknown. One had to be wary of others. Brother Long, congratulations. I was also lucky enough to avoid the corrosion of the black mist. If my guess is correct, Brother Long has already devoured the black mist. Longao became increasingly wary. Although Nangong spoke casually, Longao knew exactly what the black mist's corrosion meant. The slightest carelessness could lead to eternal damnation. Moreover, Nangong knew that he had devoured the black mist. He was too mysterious. Longao didn't show the slightest difference on the surface. He said helplessly, "Not being corroded by the black mist is already a great fortune." Brother Nangong, do you know the secret of the East Imperial Mountain? Longao was only guessing. As for whether Nangong knew or not, he didn't dare to be certain. However, Longao had always believed in his intuition. Nangong gave him the same feeling as Qin Shuangshuang. It was as if he had known Nangong for a very long time. This kind of intuition was too strange. Could it be that he was really a reincarnation? I know a thing or two. Without waiting for Longao to speak, Nangong continued. The Eastern Imperial Mountain does indeed have a primal chaos stone tablet. Moreover, it is not just one primal chaos stone tablet. However, Longao, I would like to make a deal with you.
Tell me.
If you and I join hands, the primal chaos stone tablets of the East Imperial Mountain will all belong to you. However, there is one thing that must belong to me.
How about it? What is it?
Longao was completely shocked. In Longao's opinion, the primal chaos stone tablets were the most important things. There was simply nothing that could be compared to the primal chaos stone tablets. P.S. I was delayed by some matters. The 9th chapter has been delivered. As for the last chapter, Little 9 will rest for a moment before continuing to write it. I will deliver it later. Please add Little 9's public account, Longao 009. Thank you. Chapter 2796. What exactly was it? No matter how he thought about it, Longao couldn't think of anything in the vast cosmos that could compare to or even surpass the Chaos Stone Steels. Longao's intuition told him that the item Nangong wanted was definitely not simple. He still couldn't figure it out. He was actually willing to give up all the Chaos Stone Steels. Brother Long, forgive me for not being able to tell you the truth. As if afraid that Longao wouldn't agree, Nangong continued, the item I want is extremely important to me, more important than anything else. However, it's worthless to you.
Deal.
No matter what this thing was in the current situation, Longao only knew one thing, and that was that the primal chaos stone tablet was simply too important to him. Not to mention multiple chaos stone steals, even if it was just a single one, Longao wouldn't hesitate in the slightest. As for the other matter, Longao was almost certain that Nangong-in had chosen to give up on the chaos stone steals. If nothing unexpected happened, Nangong-in definitely had a chaos stone steal himself.
There was no doubt about this.
He was deeply hidden. Perhaps apart from himself, there were very few people in the cosmos who knew that Nangong-in had a chaos stone steal. Since that's the case, let's quickly get what we need. Alright, the Donghuang mountain was boundless. Even Longao's primordial spirit couldn't cover the entire mountain. After Longao devoured all the black mist, the people outside could now enter the Donghuang mountain. However, after a full hour, people began to continuously enter the Donghuang mountain from the outside. While searching for the chaos stone steals and the item Nangong-in wanted, Longao didn't know if he was deliberately asking or just asking casually. Brother Nangong, forgive me for asking, but do you know me from before? Although it felt a bit ridiculous, Longao didn't know why, but he had this feeling that Nangong-in seemed to know him. It wasn't that strong before. However, after entering the Donghuang mountain, Longao discovered that this feeling was growing stronger. Nangong-in smiled and said, I do. They really did know each other. It seemed like his guess was correct. Not only was Nangong-in a reincarnated body, even he himself was a reincarnated body. Not only do we know each other, Nangong-in didn't continue, and only smiled. His smile was very strange. Brother Nangong, if you have something to say, just say it. Brother Long, I want to ask you, will we become enemies in the future? This question was really hard to answer, because even Longao wasn't sure if he and Nangong-in would be enemies or friends in the future. Will we be friends in the future? Haraha, friend or foe. How many people can say for sure? Nangong-in did not directly answer Longao's question, but the more he did so, the more Longao feared Nangong-in. Brother Long, this is fate. I wonder if I'll be able to succeed this time. What did that mean? Let's go. Nangong-in clearly didn't want to say more. Longao also didn't ask because he knew that even if he asked, it would be useless. If Nangong-in wanted to say something, there was no need for him to ask. Nangong-in would say it anyway. The two tried to avoid the crowd as much as possible. After all, they were eternal immortal emperors, the so-called peak starry sky immortals. If they encountered a starry sky ruler, things would be very troublesome. Eternal immortal emperor? Nangong-yin's face instantly became gloomy when he saw the three approaching from the left. Humph. Nangong-yin only snorted coldly and didn't say anything. However, Longao only needed a glance to know that there was enmity between the two sides. Nangong-yin, back then, we wanted to borrow your 9-revolution life-death mirror to save our brother, but you didn't agree. Isn't it time for us to settle this debt today? The three used to be immortal emperors. They were originally 4 brothers, but one of them had fallen. If Nangong-yin had used the 9-revolution life-death mirror to save him, it would have been a different story. Although the 3 of them were immortal emperors at that time, they weren't Nangong-yin's match even if they joined forces. In desperation, the 3 of them immediately wandered the starry sky of the immortal world, hoping to find a secret domain or a primal chaos tablet. Once they became half-step starry sky rulers or starry sky rulers, they could easily take revenge and kill Nangong-yin. One couldn't help but admit that. The 3 of them were really lucky. Several decades ago, they finally found a secret domain and successfully refined it to become half-step starry sky rulers. A few months ago, they took revenge and were about to go to Eternal Immortal Plane to kill Eternal Immortal Emperor when they suddenly heard news about the Eastern Imperial Mountain and immediately rushed over. In their opinion, they were already strong enough to kill Eternal Immortal Emperor, so it didn't make any difference whether they went early or late. Moreover, finding a primal chaos tablet was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and it didn't happen all the time. However, The three of them didn't expect to encounter immortal Emperor Yongsheng on their trip to the Donghuang Mountain. If that was the case, they could kill immortal Emperor Yongsheng while they were searching for the Chaos Tablet. This would save them a trip to the Eternity Realm. Nangong Yin, you caused my brother's death. Today, I'll send you down to accompany him. Nangong Yin sneered and said in an extremely cold voice, pestering endlessly. In that case, I don't need to be polite. Don't think that you three can show off in front of me just because you've become half-step starry sky rulers. Secret domains are just starry sky divine tools. Half-step starry sky rulers are really laughable. Longao did not say anything. His instincts told him that this Nangong Yin was definitely not as simple as he looked. For example, even though he was only a peak starry sky immortal, his strength was far above that of a half-step starry sky ruler. In other words, it wouldn't be hard for him to kill a half-step starry sky ruler right now. Could Nangong Yin be the same as him? Ha ha ha, ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha. The three of them laughed out maniacally. They had seen arrogant people before, but not to this extent. Of course, the three of them could sense that even though Eternal Immortal Emperor had become Eternal Immortal Emperor, the difference between an Eternal Immortal Emperor and a half-step starry sky ruler was huge. The two of them weren't even on the same level. The three of them could not figure out what gave Eternal Immortal Emperor such courage and confidence that he would dare to challenge the three of them in public. Nangong Yin, I'll let you know today just how big the difference is between a half-step starry sky ruler and an Eternal Immortal Emperor. I'll also let you know that even if you become a half-step starry sky ruler, it's nothing. Author's note, Chapter 10 has been delivered. Wash your face and sleep. Everyone can add Little Nine's public account, Longao 009. In the future, if there are any explosive updates, update times, and everyone's private messages will all be there. Chapter 2797. Nangong Yin didn't show the slightest fear, even if he was facing three half-step starry sky rulers. The three Li brothers didn't put Eternal Life Immortal Emperor in their eyes. What a joke. A puny Eternal Immortal Emperor wanted to fight against half-step starry sky rulers? It was simply a fool's dream. Not to mention the three of them working together, even any one of them could easily deal with the other party. Lin Clan's third brother's eyes turned red. The humiliation Eternal Life Immortal Emperor gave them was still vivid in his mind. He had waited for so many years for this day.
Die.
Li Clan's third brother used his secret realm and launched his most crazy attack. Longao didn't attack. He also wanted to see Nangong Yin's true strength. Nangong Yin was definitely not simple. Sure enough, the 9 Revolution Life and Death Mirror suddenly appeared in Nangong Yin's hand. He snorted coldly. Arrogant fool. Nangong Yin snorted, and the 9 Revolution Life and Death Mirror in his hand began to release black and white light. A shocking scene occurred. Li Clan's third brother's attack disappeared without a trace as soon as it touched the black and white light. It was like an egg hitting a rock, unable to withstand a single blow.
Huh.
What's going on? Everyone looked at the 9 Revolution Life and Death Mirror in Nangong Yin's hand and was completely dumbfounded. Such a starry sky divine artifact was too terrifying. Everyone knew that Eternal Life Immortal Emperor's 9 Revolution Life and Death Mirror could reverse life and death, but they didn't expect this starry sky divine artifact to be so powerful. No wonder Nangong Yin was so confident. He wasn't afraid of facing a half-step starry sky ruler. It would be a lie if the three Li brothers said they weren't tempted by such a powerful starry sky divine artifact. Their eyes revealed extreme greed. They couldn't wait to kill Nangong Yin and take away the 9 Revolution Life and Death Mirror. What a powerful starry sky divine artifact. It was even comparable to his Chaos Axe and Chaos Palace. Longao was almost certain that the 9 Revolution Life and Death Mirror in Nangong Yin's hand wasn't a starry sky divine artifact, but a so-called Chaos divine artifact. A very powerful one at that. Ha ha ha, I said, you're arrogant fool. You're really frogs in a well. Today, I'll let you know that you can't become invincible just by devouring secret realms. After saying that, with the 9 revolutions life and death mirror in hand, Nangong-in was already fighting against the Li family's third brother. It was almost impossible. It was already impressive enough that the immortal emperor didn't flee when facing a half-step starry sky ruler, let alone take the initiative to attack. It meant that the impossible had now become possible. Big brother. Let's wait and see. Li family's eldest brother and Li family's second brother still didn't want to help. After all, if the 3 of them joined forces, even if they won, it would be a bit embarrassing. The most important point, both the first and second didn't believe that eternal immortal emperor could beat their third brother. It was a bit ridiculous. But what was the result? It was a nonsensical thing, but it really happened. Impossible, this is impossible. Li family's third brother roared in shock, glaring at eternal life immortal emperor. He had thought that it would be easy for him to kill eternal life immortal emperor with his half-step starry sky ruler strength. But now, it seemed like he didn't even know if he could escape unscathed, let alone kill his opponent. Eternal immortal emperor's strength was too terrifying. Li family's third brother couldn't figure out why eternal life immortal emperor's strength could rival a half-step starry sky ruler and even surpass it. What was the reason? He couldn't figure it out. He really couldn't figure it out. Nangong-in seemed to be very impatient. His speed increased by a notch, and before Li family's third brother could react, he had already arrived behind him. Third brother, be careful. It's too late. Nangong-in sneered, and the 9 revolution life and death mirror in his hand slashed towards Li family's third brother. Li family's third brother let out an earth-shattering roar, but it was too late to turn around. Li family's third brother was struck by the 9 revolution life and death mirror, and his body didn't fly out as expected. His primordial spirit was directly devoured, and Li family's third brother's body slowly fell down. This scene happened so fast that even Li family's eldest brother and second brother didn't have time to save him. You killed third brother, compensate. Before Li family's second brother could finish speaking, a mystic realm appeared in Nangong-yin's hand. It was the mystic realm inside the body of Li family's third brother, who had just been killed. It was precisely because he devoured and refined this mystic realm that Li family's third brother could smoothly advance to half-step starry sky ruler. Everyone thought that Nangong-in would devour and refine the mystic realm after obtaining it, but a shocking scene appeared once again. Nangong-in didn't even think about devouring the mystic realm in his hand. Instead, he looked coldly at the 2 people in front of him and directly destroyed the mystic realm in his hand. Destroying a mystic realm? What kind of strength was this? Not to mention the 2 Li family's third brother. Even Longao was a little dumbfounded. This was because he knew very well that even an ordinary starry sky ruler couldn't do this, unless it was a starry sky ruler who had mastered the primal chaos force. However, he had never seen it with his own eyes, so he didn't know whether it was possible. However, Nangong-in could destroy a mystic realm so easily, which was a little unbelievable. Could it be that Nangong-yin's strength had surpassed an ordinary starry sky ruler and was comparable to Cloud Emperor? Impossible. Longao was almost certain that although Nangong-in had devoured the primal chaos stone tablet, he still hadn't refined it, let alone mastered the primal chaos force. Nangong-in was too mysterious. Seeing Nangong-in destroy a mystic realm in an instant, both the Li family's first brother and second brother were thoroughly frightened. They retreated again and again, unable to say a word. They had seen ferocious people before, but they had never seen such ferocious people. Nangong-yin's strength had exceeded their scope of understanding. His previous arrogance had long disappeared, and even the revenge for their third brother had been thrown out of the sky. Leave. The 2 only thought in their minds was to leave this place as soon as possible. If possible, they didn't want to meet eternal immortal emperor in their lifetime. This kind of strength was a little unimaginable. Unless they could devour the primal chaos stone tablet and become a starry sky ruler, Even if the two of them joined forces, they wouldn't be Nangongyan's opponent. Go! Li Family's first brother roared. He didn't want to stay and wait for death. As soon as he finished speaking, he turned around and left in a hurry. It was a completely different person from his previous arrogance. Li Family's second brother naturally wouldn't stay. He turned around and ran with his first brother. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.